In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
What a crowd. What a crowd.
What a crowd.
Man, I missed that guy. He was funny.
Yes,
Dangerfield was
No
awesome.
respect. No respect at all. Yeah. Great guy. Great guy. Man, how's your guys' weeks going?
It's
All
going
right?
good.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
Good. Yeah, we got some fun stuff to talk about today. As today's title implies, unexpected casualties of the culture war. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to what's been going on over the course of, I don't know, man, what has it been?
A week.
Yeah.
Five,
A
6
week.
years?
Yeah, a little
10 years?
5, 6 years, maybe more, who knows?
10 years?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Decade.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and it's starting to, I think, bring up. I think more people are starting to see it for what it is, and at the same time, there's still got a lot of people that are they're trying to not see it. You know, they're trying to pretend that it's not.
Yep.
You know, somehow this culture war thing, even though they'll mention the culture war. We're going to go over some tweets today by Mark Miller and some exchanges that have taken place. I just thought it was, just kind of funny how, it's like, oh, this whole thing is not about politics. But at the same time, hey, both people on both sides of the culture war need to come together and work together for the industry. Well, which is it? Is it a culture war or is it not? Is it politics or is it not? I mean, obviously, so I think we need to, I think we can talk about that a little bit. But I think out of this whole thing, which is what I wanted to talk about today, is that there's been some unexpected casualties. And it kind of feels a little bit like there's this parable, there's this story in in the Bible about these two women are fighting over this baby. They're both claiming mothership of the child, right?
The wisdom of King Solomon.
Yeah, the wisdom of King Solomon. And so King Solomon says, well, let's just cut it in half. You take one half, you take the other half. And one of them was fine with that. Yeah, let's do it. You stay over there, and I'll keep my half over here. And the other one was like, no, that'll kill the child. You please, just let her have it. And that's how King Solomon knew who the real mother was, because only the real mother would care about the life of the child that much, to give up the child forever. So I kind of feel a little bit like the comic industry is that baby. And we've got activists on either side that are fighting over this thing. And to be honest with you, I don't believe that the activism started on what I would consider the more right-leaning, more conservative side. But many of them are very militant, and when they get off the bench, they're going to foul out.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, my first game I fouled out in 5 seconds, 1 second for every foul. And I mean, I couldn't play. I mean, I didn't know much. But my role was to go in there and foul out. And that's what he would tell me. He's like, Luke, go foul out. Okay. Here comes Oph. I'm about to lay some hurt. And I think some people have that kind of mentality, that if they do get off the bench, they're going to foul out. They're not thinking about playing the full 4 quarters. They're thinking about today and winning today's battle only.
Hockey terms, just skating around the rink without a stick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Everything's a battle. They're like, brah, let's go. So yeah, and I think we've seen. I want to talk about and speculate about the unintended consequence, the casualty that we may have seen. And I think that the news and I think that the numbers will show us, will kind of prove my theory today. But all right, Randy,
Sure.
What you been up to this week, man?
Dealing with construction people who still might be here today.
Nice.
There's still a little bit of siding on the house that needs to be put back up.
Oh, okay. At least it's not still holes in the house.
Most of the windows, yeah, the holes are gone. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want holes in Michigan.
No, not at all.
No.
Even though this week's going to be really, real nice, and for us, real nice is 40s and 50s. So
Real nice.
real nice.
Yeah.
Great for December. So,
Whiskey, how about you up there in Canada?
I took a mini vacation from working just to get my head screwed on straight, and I gave some Russ some details for a cover for a book. So I was working on that and getting that assembled for him, so you have no guesswork whatsoever, and could just get up and go when he's ready.
mental health holiday.
I'm fully cross-threaded.
Yeah, just no work, nothing at all. But I didn't really go out anywhere. Just kind of played video games and shut my brain off.
I'm popping out a lot of work this week. Getting real close to the end of this Terminal Kill book, but right now, as it stands, if we keep going based on what he wrote in kind of the manner of which he's written it, the last 20 pages are going to be like 50. And we'd like to cut that down to 30.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, it'd be nice to only do another 30 pages. Yeah.
How many pages is it so far?
150.
Wow. There you go.
I've drawn that this year.
Yeah.
Just for that book. That doesn't include Chrome Dog. Doesn't include any of the other short story things that I've done. Just that. It has been one heck of a chunk. I like the steady paycheck. Don't get me wrong, knowing that there's, work to do. But I mean, there's still work to do whether I've got that or not. So I look forward to kind of getting back to some of my personal projects.
Yeah. I know exactly how that goes.
Yeah, there's a lot of personal projects. I'd really like to work on. So
I have a list.
that's some good coffee. All right.
More awake now?
Now, yeah, that's actually my first sip of coffee because it was too hot earlier. I boiled it for too long. I got it really, really hot.
I like hot coffee.
I do like it hot, but I also like to be able to feel my lips.
Fair enough.
Is what it's.
And to have full use of your taste buds.
Right, yeah. Be able to
For the
taste
rest of the
stuff
week.
that I
Yeah.
Yeah, let's welcome our chat real quick. See who's in here today. We got Ronan Dust. Hail, all you nerds out there. Coffee is flowing. Creativity
He is
is
here
in the
at
air.
7:30 this morning.
Yeah, he's been here for a while.
Yeah.
Glenn was poking me about being a little bit late. Yeah, I was pulling up some articles. Yep, same bat time, same bat channel, same bat late. We got Russ Leach in the house. Morning, afternoon, all. It's good to see you here. Levi Skeen is with us. Hail to the chat. We've got Hojo. Hojo's back. And in business, it's been an interesting week in comics. Yes, it has. It really has. Yeah, and Sheet is finally hitting the fan. My gosh, really, we do have a lot. It is, there's just so much to talk about. We've got MS in the house. Welcome. Now I want bacon. Of course, we want bacon every day, all day, any day that we can get it. Please feel free to be commenting and letting us know how you feel and what you think. Your comments will be heard or saw or listened to. If things get a little crazy in the chat, it could get a little nuts. So super chats are always looked at first. Okay, so we'll do that. I will later today have some more announcements, but Randy, I think I'm going to encourage after the first of the year all of my channel members to unsub to the membership for here and do a private sub to get the same content from my website.
Really?
More
Okay.
content, actually.
Yeah.
For the same price. Well, YouTube, they take so much money from you.
Yeah.
So it's like it's yeah, and then you have to wait until you've raised like $100 before they will ship you your mones. So
That
it could
take
sit
a
in
couple
limbo there
years.
for it could take forever.
Yeah.
If you're a small channel. And I've only had this year I've had one payout. Yeah. And you'd think with my channel memberships that I would have gotten there, but they didn't because the fees they took out. Yeah, it keeps going down. So we're looking at a different method. I can set up all that stuff like my own little Patreon from my own website. I can do it all on my own Z's. And I think I'm going to do it.
With the Luke OnlyFans.
Yeah, the Luke only.
The Luke only fans. There we are.
Or the Twitch.
The Twitch, yeah. I love it. Cancel pig, la la la. Yes. And cheers, buddy, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went viral. And
Cheers,
that's what
bud.
she said, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers,
That's
bud.
what she said.
Yeah, cheers, bud. Yeah, cheers,
Cheers,
bud.
bud.
She likes it
Yeah.
a lot, I think that was for.
Yeah, it's been a big week in
Drama.
silly,
Drama.
yeah,
Drama.
Yeah.
Drama,
So
drama.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the industry stuff first. So here we go. Isn't that special?
It's something.
I put all the work into making it, so I thought I'd use it. J.M. DeMatteis reveals the original Green Goblin in a new miniseries. That's right, folks. Norman Osborn was not the first. J.M. DeMatteis will take a deep dive into Spider-Man history in a new 4-issue miniseries, Spider-Man: Shadow of the Green Goblin, which Marvel will launch in March of 2024. DeMatteis, let's say it's DeMatteis and artist Michael Stahl, Maria spin out a, wait, that's not the end of a, dear Lord. Let's just start over, shall we?
Michael Sta Maria. spin
Michael
out
Stammeria, spin
a
out-
dark drama about Peter Parker's relationship with Norman and Harry Osborn in his early days as Spider-Man, resolving the mystery of what happened to Norman Osborn's research assistant, Nels Van Adder, the Proto-Goblin. The first issue of the miniseries will be released April 3rd, 2024, with a cover by Paulo Sequeira. I've always been fascinated with Peter Parker's early days as Spider-Man, the time before he fully understood what it meant to be a superhero, Dee said. In a statement accompanying the announcement, Shadow of the Goblin allows us to take a deep dive into young Peter's mind and emotions as he makes his way through this exhilarating and sometimes terrifying new world. We take an equally deep dive into the dysfunctional dynamic of the Osborn family, seeing how that generational pain sowed the earliest seeds of Norman's Green Goblin identity and left its traumatic imprint on Harry. If you think you know everything there is to know about Peter and the Osborns, think again. It's our chance to write more revisionist history.
Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Which one of them will turn out to be gay? Spin the wheel.
Well, let's put a chick in her, make her gay and wait. Hopefully they don't do that. I did watch.
That's his assistant. His assistant will be lame,
Yeah.
a female, and gay.
So I finally didn't have anything else to watch last night. So I started watching the Santa Clauses. We're keeping
You
Disney.
really
Plus
didn't
to
have
do
anything
that.
else to watch last
I
night,
did
did
not.
you?
No, I did not.
Holy Moses.
No, and so I
That's-
started watching.
that's
I watched the first
Disney
season.
and Tim Allen, in it.
Yeah, so I watched the first. There's a
Mm-hmm.
second season now. So I watched the first season of this, right? So I watched the show, and I started watching
show?
it last year. Yeah, called it Santa Clauses.
I thought there was a
And
movie. That was a movie.
There's a
No.
series of movies, too,
Yes.
yeah.
There's 3 movies, and then there's a series that they made that's post movie 3, right? So he has 2 kids now, and they're he's
Because
wanting to
for some
retire.
reason, nobody's watching the Marvel streaming series at the moment, so let's do one on Santa Claus. Yeah.
Right. No, but this one was like from last year, and then they've got a second season coming out this year.
Oh, God.
Right.
Oh,
So
boy.
I started watching it last year, and was like, I don't think so. It wasn't very good, so I stopped. I didn't watch it. Well, TV right now is so bad. I just went ahead and turned that on, and let it play while I was doing some other stuff. And there were a couple moments in it that I thought were mildly humorous, because it's Tim Allen. He still. I know that originally they wanted to do some things with that series that he said, nope. If you do that, I will have no part of this. So, but one of the things that I noticed is they did some revisionist stuff to his backstory as well. So apparently the clauses were all written just for him, and he was the first human Santa Claus, or something like that, And so it's like, oh, okay. That's why no one was freaking out when the other Santa died, because he didn't really die. He just went into retirement, And so they have like this Yule verse.
The Yule verse.
Yeah, they have this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and I'm like, so whenever I
Oh, my
hear,
God.
so whenever I see this, like, we're going to tell a part of the past that no one's ever seen before.
Again, just like
Right,
Green Goblin there. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Maybe it's going to be good. Maybe.
The only series I'm keeping track of right now is Monarch, and that seems to be really good.
You'll love it, yeah. You
will
know what?
love
I'm
it.
going back and
That's
rewatching old episodes of Law and Order Criminal Intent.
Well, you really don't have anything to watch, do you?
One of my favorite characters on TV of all time is Robert Gorman. D'Onofrio's character on that.
Yeah.
He is like a mix between Sherlock Holmes and Columbo. And I freaking love it. I'm like,
Okay.
that
Big
is such a
Columbo
cool
fan?
character. I grew up watching Columbo with my mom and dad. Mom loved Columbo.
What about Murder, She Wrote?
Yeah, we watched that too. It's not my bag. It's not my thing. We watched Quincy, the doctor that would solve crime.
Yeah.
Right? Because that makes total sense, right?
Wow.
So my father-in-law was here, and we were watching old Magnum PI episodes. And I did not realize how bad that show was. I thought it was really good back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It's poorly acted. It's poorly written. whatever his name is, the staunch little, the staunch dude with the mustache, and the plastered down hair.
That's not Tom Selleck, is it?
No, the other guy,
Ah.
the little one, the little rich dude that is a real pain in the neck. That dude, he's a jackass in that show, like a total jerk. I'm like, whoa, did not realize that. He's completely unlikable. Yeah, so it was anyway. Maybe we should go back and retcon that.
They already did.
They did. There's a new one out, and it's not very good.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
John Hillerman.
Really? Oh, God, they're doing it again. Green Goblin isn't the only villain to work with. Right. Yeah, we like going back to the Green Goblin. That goblin on the cover doesn't look scary. Looks like a woman cosplaying.
There's
That's
your
hilarious.
hint. Yes.
Hey, Pedro.
Hey, what's
Speaking
up,
of
guys?
unable to work with, how you doing, Pedro?
Yeah, I'm horrible. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Real
Fire
good.
Frog here split 4 ways.
Yeah.
Russ is like, instead of writing something new and exciting, I thought I'd insert myself professionally into an IP that everyone used to love so I can feel good about myself.
There you are.
You know what?
It's all
That
about the
sounds like-
insertion, Russ.
that sounds like a winning plan. It's all
Mm-hmm.
but
That's now what they call
Yep.
the O'Leary Doctrine. Yeah.
The O'Leary Doctor. Wow. That sounds
So-
official.
so it's funny how everyone was on board with O'Leary. Yes, self-insertion, stupid politics, and then the backpedaling that's taking place a week later.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not about politics. It's that they just have short-run series. Like, this is just a mini-series. We need really long series that last like 2 years. Do we?
That'll help sell the books.
Yeah, that's gonna work,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I could see, 2 years of safe space and Snowflake. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna
because
fix
because
it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
That's the new Warriors.
and we're gonna take a
Yeah.
look at some of the comments, but there's a lot of people that don't feel that way about it.
The new Warriors. Yeah.
The new war.
And
Yeah.
and of course, there's always going to be the, Yas queens
Yeah.
that are going to go
Oh,
out
yeah.
there and
The thirsty.
they're gonna champion anything they can to try to make it look like the industry is doing fine. O'Leary might have saved the industry,
No.
but I don't think so.
No.
Somebody said,
I
"Oh, he
wouldn't
saved the
go as
industry."
far
I'm
as
like, "No,
that.
I don't think so. I don't think it's enough."
Yeah.
Snoo Warriors. Yep.
Snoo Warriors. Yes.
Yep.
That's right, Russ.
The only good part of Magnum PI is the theme song. I do agree with that.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding
It
ding
just
ding
makes
ding
no
ding.
sense to me how you can backpedal though. Like you go out of your way to talk about cancel pigs, and then you just that the whole thing about cancel pigs is their politics, and then you just I don't understand. I don't
And then
get
it's
it.
not about politics. That's my problem with it. That's really what and what's happening is, never mind. We'll get there. There's a roadmap for today. We'll get there.
Yeah.
It's just it's been a week. It's been a week. Speaking of a week, Titan Comics moves to Diamond's premier publisher tier.
That means they go from the green section to the yellow section.
They went to the yellow section, which I've never
Yeah.
heard of
Those
Titan.
You've
The
never
yellow
heard of
snow
Titan?
section. Yeah.
I'm joking. I've heard of them.
How can you have never heard
the
of
Frank
Titan?
Zappa section.
I know. But it's how many people out there that don't know what Titan Comics is, who Titan Comics is. So
Most
Diamond
people
Comics
don't
Distributors,
know anything beyond the big two anyway.
right, has
Oh,
promoted
so-called
Titan
big two.
Comics.
Ain't that big anymore.
Has promoted Titan Comics to premier publisher status. The move, effective with the January 2024 previews catalog,
Sound the trumpets.
brings the total number of premier publishers to 3.
Bring on the dancing girls.
3.
Yeah.
Titan,
Was previously in the deluxe tier. Yes.
deluxe.
It's not quite the back of the bus, but almost.
It's getting close, yeah.
With premier status comes placement in the front of the catalog, as well as increased support on the previews website. BCD will continue to be the exclusive distributor for Titan in the direct market. Okay. In a statement accompanying the announcement, Titan Comics co-publishers Nick Landau and Vivian Chung credited their staff, creators, and licensing partners, as well as support from Diamond and comics retailers for their growth. 2024 going to be a growing year, leading
Brownie.
off with Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon in January, and a host of new creator-owned and licensed titles across our comics, magazines, fiction, and art books ranges. They said, we'll also be significantly expanding our existing series and range of manga titles, plus launching a new YA imprint, Nova.
I bring this up because there's been some conversation as of late. So Phil Avelli, my partner for Iron Age distribution, and we try to keep, especially him, tries to keep his ear to the ground in tracking what people are talking about and what people are thinking about. And there are a number of former pros, even on this more conservative side of the aisle, that are all considering finding their books, trying to find a way to get their books back into the Diamond Previews magazine.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts? Is there now more room and more possibility for a viable life in the green section? Or is it just a moot point with the fact that this website that we've been using, and quite honestly, many retailers and many pros at this point think that 2024 might see the end of the direct market as we know it? What are your thoughts?
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Well, perfectly said with a meme.
Anybody else?
I mean, not
You
all.
want to hear what I
For
think?
you, Randy, come on. Like,
Yeah. Everyone's like, I don't really
Everybody's just
want to
waiting.
say it.
everybody's waiting for Randy. Let's go.
I'm looking in our brands here for that doom and gloom song, and I'm not finding it.
Oh, it's not in there. It's on my hard drive.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. That sums up my opinion.
Okay.
There's I was thinking about getting back and doing short videos on the Randy Zim channel, so that I could speak my mind about some of this stuff. But
That'd be a bad idea.
I don't know.
I
Listen
think
to
that
this. Yeah,
Marvel
listen
and
to this,
DC
like,
Bud
Brand-
Lighted
yeah.
themselves 5 years ago, and they ain't coming back.
I mean, listen to this business plan. I kind of inclined to like Jim Lee's plan of sandwiches and comics. It makes more sense to me than the
There we are.
dude. Like, yeah, thank you. This is just horrible.
Yeah, I obviously don't know as much as the rest of the panel on the whole diamond issues, but it just seems like it's kicking a dead horse. Like,
Yeah, dude.
why? Just let it die gracefully. Let it pass away, fade on, fade away.
Well,
Allow it to go into the woods.
I would love to be distributed by Diamond, but I would have to have from them in writing a set of minimums, because that's what they made me jump through back when I was doing Arrow Comics 3.0. It wouldn't have to be very high, but I'd have to know that those minimums were there and that they were taking that amount in order to help promote my comics to their customers.
Well, see, that's the problem. They're not going to take your comics to promote them to their customers. It's the same old method of here's your previews number. You promote it to my customers.
Yeah.
The fact that they still have everybody segregated is a major disappointment to me, especially now that they've lost the two big so-called clients that they have promoted for the last 30 years. Everybody is showing how much loyalty they have to each other in this industry, yet Diamond still insists on playing favorites, and that's
So,
disappointing.
Randy, what you're saying is that Diamond is saying segregation yesterday, segregation now, and segregation forever.
Exactly.
Basically. Nice. I love it. Takes me back to the 60s.
And these books need to survive or fail on merit and not on segregation and preferential
Yeah,
treatment from the
exactly.
middleman. And that's been the big problem. If that had happened from the start, these big corporate comics wouldn't be nearly as big as they or as they used to be. Not as big as they are now, because they're not as big as anybody thinks.
Yeah.
Which is that's why everybody's pulled their numbers and they have little private
mean,
distribution.
They are big disappointments. So
They
there's
are
that.
very big disappointments. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
But I would love the opportunity to be in retail shops. I just don't think Diamond's capable of treating anybody with any kind of a level playing field, because they're too busy playing favorites and playing God with who gets in and who doesn't. I got to step offline for a minute. I'll be right back.
All right.
Do it.
I think a lot of this is they want indies to work in the same business model that they've done everything else in for years, and it's that business model that's actually hurt things. So I think going to Diamond and doing business as usual with them is just going to spell certain death for people. I think that's my opinion on this. And honestly, if the stores that were interested in selling Wraith of God, Cyber Frog, and things like that, would they already be selling them? Like, would they already have them there? Maybe not. I don't know. But I'm just trying to see. I think I know who the other two premier publishers are. But I just want to confirm before I say it out loud.
While you're confirming that, I don't want to see it, but I kind of do want to see it because out of like a sick fascination, like, because I don't want people to get hurt, right? But I'd like I don't want these people to get hurt at all, but I'd like to see, just because I want to see what happens if the comic book industry just flatlines entirely, all the stores close, and what the world looks like, and then you get the big old "I told you so," the cathartic kind of release, be like, well, we warned you. But like, obviously you don't want to get people to get hurt, but at all. But it would be as interesting as hell to actually see it happen.
Yeah, but I would call that a pyrrhic victory. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to burn it all down to win. It's just a matter of, these guys want to apply the same medicine that didn't work to a dying patient. Like, it's not gonna work. Like, everybody's seeing that, but them. So, I mean, I really don't want to see people get hurt, but I can do nothing to people who are hurting themselves and not paying attention to what they're doing. So, yeah, dude, good luck.
This has been a long, slow death ever since Diamond became the primary direct distributor. The numbers have peaked, the numbers are dropping, and every time the industry gets kicked, the numbers drop severely.
So,
and since the bug, it's been kicked a number of times, and Diamond's just barely grasping. They're DiCaprio trying to hold on to the door that Winslow is laying on. Yeah, that's what's happening.
So right now it's Dynamite and Boom that are in the Premier Publishers section, right?
Last one standing.
Yeah, the last
Scout's
exclusive.
left.
Yeah,
I think
Scout
Source
left,
Point's gone. Yeah. Who's left at Diamond? Well, other than the fact that Diamond distributes these guys after all, and then passes their lack of discount on to the retailers to handle. All the retailers are so, not all of them, but a lot of the retailers are Pavlovian trained to only deal with Diamond.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. They need to get out there and start looking to make $1 in any direction they possibly can.
But we also need to look at one other thing about this article that we didn't read. Is this is as they expand manga and young adult lines. So it's their manga and their young adult lines that are actually going to be the ones getting the promotion. This is one of the first signs and first hints in these articles that we're going to read that says that the unintended casualty of this culture war that we're seeing in comics, where activists decided they wanted to take over and save comics from the big bad chauvinistic man. Quite honestly, the casualty is not even, in my opinion, the retailer. The retailer, I think, was complicit. You can tell I've been watching a lot of cop shows, right? Was complicit in this murder, right? They were, in some cases, they championed it. They helped withhold the evidence of what was going on. They ignored it, and even to even now, this last week, Mark Miller had a conversation with 4 different retailers, and they all said it's not politics. It's that the runs are too short. It's miniseries that are killing us. We need longer series because we're trying to sell readers on a new book every 4 weeks, and it's impossible. Well, there was a reason why they moved to miniseries, because it was impossible. Because Diamond, the structure of Diamond, if you were a small publisher, all you could do was a miniseries.
Yep.
Without the guarantee of not being able to finish telling the story. And the customer got conditioned to want smaller chunks.
It also gave the green section a bad reputation because Diamond started running on minimums, and if you fell below that minimum, they told you they wouldn't carry your book. So a lot of these alternative publishers, especially the ones that were serious about getting in the industry, had one issue and then got their throats cut.
Which is what happened with Alterna.
Yeah.
Well, and additionally, Alterna had some issues with product quality, the way Diamond was handling their stuff. So how many of those are not in there anymore? Like, friends with Martin Piero for Cosmic Time Comics, right? Used to be distributed through Diamond. Minimums cut them out, right?
Yep.
Who are some other ones?
That's what happened to us in the early 2000s. They started telling us what books we could and couldn't print. And that was like, well, screw you. We just won't print nothing.
Yeah, screw you. Like Elon says.
Yeah.
F those guys.
Go F yourself.
Go F
Exactly.
yourself. So, yeah. So I think what we're seeing is people are, and we've been seeing this, we've talked about this trend. Fewer people are buying comic books, but more people are buying manga.
Yep.
In fact, I saw some comic book fans say that in 2024 they hope to start buying more and reading more manga.
I think the thing is the quality. It's not necessarily the length of the story or the fact that they're running long-running epics. It's just the quality and imagination is sitting there in manga right now.
I remember when I first talked with Justin Sweet with Chrome Dog, and the script that he first turned into me. I said, why did you write this like a CW TV show? Like you have limitations of camera booms and things like that. Like it's very close and on the ground. And he was like, I didn't realize I did that. I said, yeah, you did. I said, this is comic books, man. Like there's no budget. We can make that a drone helicopter shot if we want to, man. We can do anything we want. We can put in explosions. We can make things happen that it's not going to cost you any more money for me to draw it that way. Right? It's like the cost is the cost. So I try to, every client, I try to encourage them to think outside of the box on this imaginative world, right?
Yeah.
But that's what you get when you are a small independent writer and you hire an artist like me this is what I do all day, and I want your book to be amazing, and I want to be able to draw a fun book, right?
Oh.
Now there are guys out there that you hire them, they're going to draw exactly what you write. If it's on the script, that's what they write, that's what they do. Those guys are fine. I like working with some of those guys. Like, I've already worked with my creative team. I know what I want on the page, and I'm like, do what I wrote, right? Sometimes I want that. Sometimes I want them to be like, Luke, I know that you think that's the best thing, but it's not the best thing. This would be cooler. Then challenge me, right? I like that sometimes. But
I'd say, go ahead.
But the fact of the matter is, what used to be these big grandiose events, these things that would happen where there's characters in the background, it's massive, it's got scope, it's these machines that are hanging in the background that Kirby would invent and do. And Rob Liefeld, for as many faults as people want to give him, that dude had an imagination for these guns and these things and pouches. And it was just exhilarating as a 14-year-old boy looking at some of these images and thinking, wow, that's so cool. And most of these comics are now, they're drawing all the costumes like you can cosplay them. They're drawing all the costumes, like they're drawing. Everything is just so simple, and it's a shot in a coffee shop, or it's a street level view of someone here, or there's no theatrics beyond what you can get from a CW show these days.
Yeah, like kids used to wonder. Yeah, kids used to wonder what were in those pouches. Now they wonder, like, what kind of coffee he's having. Is it a latte, a macchiato, or a macchiato? Right. Just no fun.
We used to explore space.
Yeah.
And now we explore our feelings.
Yeah.
Hey, Pedro, can I get you to say latte again?
Latte.
Thank you, sir. I just like the way you said it the first time.
I would venture to say that Diamond will probably try to move themselves into manga and YA. Primarily. That's what that's what I because they're not stupid. They're just obtuse. There's a difference.
And set in their ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of stupid, here's a new game for you guys. Become the best barista during the coffee rush.
Jesus Christ.
I kid you not, guys. This is a game. This is not a sponsored article.
I've done this job before. I don't want to go back to work.
This is not a sponsored article. Randy, do you want a game about being the best barista?
Oh, boy. Yeah, Asmodee will release Coffee Rush, a new game from Korea Board Games, which will hit retail on January 5th, 2024. In Coffee Rush, players assume their roles of baristas attempting to complete customer orders to increase their ratings. Get everybody prepped for working at Starbucks.
Right.
They move an ingredient board looking to acquire ingredients needed to fulfill orders. Orders go unfulfilled, result in penalties that decrease baristas' ratings. As they fulfill orders, players can receive upgrades that make it easier to get ingredients. The game is over once the order cards have run out or a barista receives a fifth penalty card and the player with the highest rating wins. This game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and plays in 30 minutes. It'll retail for $34.99, as Modi also revealed. What?
I want to add another rule to this game. You should hang your college degree behind you as you play it.
Right.
So your friends can be
a degree in fine arts.
Yeah. So your friends can be like
liberal
completely
sciences.
disappointed in your life. Jesus.
Asmodee also revealed Unlock Extraordinary Adventures by Space Cowboys.
This is the direct result of everybody figuring out what Grand Theft Auto is actually for. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think we need to make a game about making a comic book.
Yeah. Disappointment. Game.
Is this supposed to be fun? It's supposed to be fun. It sounds like work to me.
Only if you want to end up working at Starbucks. If Starbucks is your goal, Coffee Rush is your game. Yes.
Alfred
Yeah,
Rush.
it's not my thing, guys. I'm sorry.
Get into practice.
But I think we should make a comic book. I think we should make a game about how to make a comic book. Like you've got to put together your team and work out your budget, and somehow not get canceled.
Nobody would play.
Yeah. No, like penalty cards, like your colorist is insane. Or stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Once they actually
you
got
can-
into it and got to see what it was like, very few would play.
Yeah. There's
Ghosted by
cards
the
like,
inker.
It's like, oops. Yeah. It's like ghosted by the inker. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Turns out that your co-writer has decided to make a power move and steal your IP from you.
Yeah.
Turn over a card. Your political leanings do not fit that of the big crowdfunding platform. You've been shadow banned.
You've been shadow banned.
Good luck making
Printing-
money, sucker.
Printing mistakes. The crowdfunding website is holding up your funds because you've been investigated. Yeah, it actually can be a very fun game.
I think it would be a great game.
Your local retailer has released a video about how great your product is. You've been you've been attempted to be canceled by the cancel pigs.
Canceled, yeah.
Yeah.
Your,
The whole
your
time you're just
artist-
running away from the cancel pigs.
That's pretty much it. You're trying to ignore the cancel pigs. That's part of the
Cancel
game.
pig alert, yeah.
Benjamin Soto says,
It's Levi. Levi says it best. Somebody would end up crying.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And Benjamin says it'd be in the corner crying because of the stress trying to get the orders out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your artist spends all his money that you gave him for the comic on drugs and doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
happened.
That's happened.
How many times has that happened? That's a story as old as time.
Your creator has decided to get
oldest
into auto racing. Yes. Here we go.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Ian.
Your
Ian
artist is in a
Gibson.
part-time band, and he thinks he
Yeah.
might make it. So rather than hit your deadline, he went out to play
tour.
for 4 people at a bar.
Nice.
Sad news.
Yeah, this
R.I.P.
is sad,
Ian
guys.
Gibson. Yep. Judge
Ian
Dredd,
Gibson.
Ballad of Halo Jones, Mr. Miracle artist. I don't know if I'd list that as that's a shame that they've listed Mr. Miracle as the third credit on there and not Robo Hunter.
Right. I mean, he's got a lot that he's done. But
British artist Ian Gibson, best known for his work on 2000 AD classics such as Judge Dredd and Ballad of Halo Jones, as well as DC's Mr. Miracle, died on December 11th, 2023 at the age of 79. Gibson was born in 46. He started out as a writer, but quickly transitioned to drawing other writers' work for British and Swedish girls' comics. The Pocket Chiller Library and House of Hammer UK magazine that featured comics and articles about the horror and sci-fi films produced by Hammer Film Productions. In 75, he collaborated with writer and editor John Wagner on the story Death Wish for the British boys comic Valiant. Wagner went on to become one of the co-founders of 2000 AD, where Gibson did much of his best-known work, including Judge Dredd, Robo Hunter, and the Ballad of Halo Jones, which was written by Alan Moore. See Rebellion's U.S. launch. Anyway, in the late 80s, Gibson began working for American publishers as the artist for several issues of Green Lantern Corps, as well as Mr. Miracle and some of Dark Horse's Star Wars comics. He also collaborated with collaborated with writer Stephen Pechura on the sci-fi story Metaphor, which was published by First Comics and was cut short when the publisher went out of business. He was the inker for DC's 8-issue event, Millennium. Other work from this period includes 3 issues of Steed and Mrs. Peel for Eclipse Comics. Gibson eventually returned to 2000 AD, but left the magazine in 2007. 2013 caused a bit of controversy when he drew a topless woman as a charity commission. The woman resembled Halo Jones, although Gibson said it was just a joke he had done for a friend. The Guardian reported that he referred to the kerfuffle as a storm in a deep cup.
I like that.
Nice.
I
That was
like
In his
good.
later years, Gibson concentrated on his own work, including Lifeboat, which was published in early 2023. UK publisher, the 77 Publications, also plans to reprint his newspaper strip, Annie Droid. Never heard of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yep.
What a great talent.
Yeah, very, very, very good talent.
Yep.
It sucks losing these talented guys. And 79 is young still,
Too
in my
young.
opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, in
Guys,
this
just
day,
in
yeah.
time for the
They
holidays.
didn't say just what he passed from, but
Yeah.
it's still a deep
But
tragedy.
do we really need to know though? Like
No,
sometimes I think
not really.
people share too much information. Like,
Well, I
yeah,
want to know
hey,
if it's
died
like,
of
That's true.
if it's heart
rectal
failure or
polyps.
something like that. It's like,
Yeah,
guys, take
Mhm.
care of yourselves. Try to get out there and take care of
yeah,
yourselves.
Get in the best
Yeah.
health that you possibly can. This is a marathon, not a race. Yeah.
Yeah.
drink a lot of
Hasbro,
water, have
Yeah.
corn. I don't know.
Drink a lot of water. Drink corn syrup by the gallon. That'll work, right?
Ojo said his death kind of hurt. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of hurt.
Yeah.
Saw Jim O'Reilly in the chat. Welcome. It's good to have
Yeah.
you here.
Stop, dude.
Yep. Good to have you here today.
We're gonna-
Oh, this
we're
is
gonna
a
look
good
at-
one.
We're going
Yeah.
to look at Halo Jones. If you have never seen the property, we're going to look at that in Comics by Night tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., Indie Comics Network.
Halo Jones.
Sounds like a lot
Halo
of fun.
Jones.
Hasbro to lay off another 1,100 employees.
The House
1,100
of Kennedy
employees.
tore apart. Yep.
With down sales expected to continue. Just in time for the holidays, folks. Hasbro is beginning
Yeah.
another round of
Merry
layoffs
Christmas,
that will
everybody.
amount to 1,100 employees. CEO Chris
Happy New Year.
Cox.
Go look for work. Yeah.
CEO Chris Cox told employees in a memo at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday that the layoffs come in the wake of 800 layoffs so far in 2023, which were the bulk of 1,100 jobs cut announced in January. So
Does this guy wear a top hat or something? This is like a Victorian entrepreneur, like
the
Scrooge or something.
total of the two cuts is 1,900 jobs.
Ooh,
The headwinds
wow.
he saw through the first 9 months of the year have continued into holiday and are likely to persist into 2024, Cox said, by way of explanation. Hasbro has indeed been facing headwinds with sales declines and losses in all 3 quarters this year, most recently in quarter 3 when it lost $171.1 million.
Jesus.
Wow. The company has
Oh my
lost
God.
$428.2 million this year. Wow, that hurts. Notifications
yeah.
began before the announcement and will continue over the next year. Cox said in the email memo. Specific areas he mentioned including standardizing processes within finance, HR, IT, and customer care as part of our global customer enablement project. Oh, you know what? The last thing that you need is customer care to be cut.
Yeah.
Like that's an important one.
Not just that, but talk about workplace motivational attitude, because you don't know if you're going to get a pink slip in your check for the next freaking year.
Right. How many of those people
Yeah,
are
like,
going to start
why bother?
looking? How many of those
Yeah.
people are going to start looking to be proactive in
How
their
many of these-
future rather than reactive?
How many of them people are going to buy their Tums in bulk from Costco? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Cox did note that they would be, quote, strengthening our leading franchises. Quote.
Sorry.
That's good
Sorry.
news for Wizards of the Coast employees, as Hasbro's
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast and digital segment has been contributing big sales and operating profits this year, as the rest of the company, specifically consumer products and entertainment, floundered. That's their licensed stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Star
action
Wars
figures
and
and
Marvel. Yeah.
But the cuts of this size, it's likely that every area of the company will be affected in some way.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
Hopefully they crash and burn and they have to sell off Wizards of the Coast to somebody who cares about it.
Oh, that's the last thing.
They won't
That's
do
the
that.
last
They
thing
won't-
they'll
they will
sell,
never
because
let
that's
go
the
of
thing
that,
that's
yeah.
making
They
money
won't.
right
Yeah,
now.
they won't let go of that. Yeah.
They will let go of that when the company folds entirely. And with Wizards of the Coast, they won't fold entirely.
That'll be part of the Chapter 11.
There'll be a
filings.
three-man
That-
operation before they close out.
Yep, that'll be a
And
long
then-
time coming.
The mouse buys it. You're just like, oh.
Yeah. Right. And that's going to help.
Do you
The
think
new
the mouse is
steps
gonna
Hasbro
have
is-
money for that?
No, I'm just.
No, Apple will buy it. Apple has the money.
Yeah, probably.
The new steps Hasbro is taking are expected to save roughly $100 million in annual expense reductions at a cost of $40 million in additional severance costs the company paid in a filing.
Said in a filing, yeah. At least they're going to give them a couple of weeks' pay when they get their pink slip.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Here we go.
More comics.
Speaking.
There we are.
Rolling for Initiative Game Workshop woes and Disney Larcana sales are down. So, sales are down, guys. Rolling for Initiative is a weekly column by Scott Thorne, PhD, owner of Castle Perilous Games in Books in Carbondale, Illinois, Illinois, and instructor in marketing at Southeast Missouri State University. This week, Thorne looks at the problem with Game Workshop's new pre-ordering system and comments on the slowing of Disney Lorcana sales. The new pre-ordering system Games Workshop implemented in November does not appear to have worked well for very long. The idea was to make sure stores knew how many copies of a new release they could expect to get. 2 weeks before release date, I think the time seemed to vary. You know what this sounds like? Final order cutoff. FOC.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like the FOC that the retailers are complaining about the comics.
Is that what it is, or is it allocation? You order 3 and you're lucky if you get 2. You're told you'll get 2 weeks before you get them.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
I don't know.
So 2 weeks before release date, I think the time seemed to vary. Game Workshop emailed out a list to stores containing the new releases for the date. Stores were supposed to enter in how many of each new release it wanted and return them to the Game Workshop. The stores were supposed to receive an email the week orders went in with a list of the quantities each store would be allocated. Orders were to go to the store's Game Workshop representative, who would put in the order the Thursday before the release date. So they said how many they wanted, then they were told how many they were getting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how that worked.
Wow.
That seems like that's fair. Then orders were to go to the store's Game Workshop representative, who would put in the orders the Thursday before the release date.
Well,
I
see,
never could figure out how
the
this
reason
system was
that doesn't
supposed to.
the reason that doesn't make sense is they would order 4 and told they were going to get 3, when they really should get 4 because that's what they wanted, and they could always print more if they need to.
Well, you know what's going to wind up happening then? Well, again, you're going to condition me that if I ask for this many, I'm only going to get this many. It's why people go when they go and ask for a budget, they always ask for more money than they need so that they can get what they need, right?
Yeah.
And then what they do the next year, if they didn't spend it all, they still ask for more, or they find a way to spend all that money rather than save money. And so they ask for more money with the expectation that they're going to get cut to get what they actually want, right?
Yep.
So what's going to happen here is these stores are going to say, I want 4, then I get 3. Okay, well, if I really want 4, then I need to ask for 6. So they're going to start asking for 6 to get 4. And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to get what they're asking for, and no one's going to buy them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't need that many. They needed 4. They don't need 8.
Yep.
Now they've got stock on the shelf that won't sell.
It's a great way to lose customers, or what?
It's a great
customers
way to
have
kill your
left.
bottom line. I talk with indie creators all the time, new ones about this all the time. They want to print over so many books. They want to be like, oh, well, I need to print like 500 books. Dude, you had 90 backers. Yeah, I need 5. No, you don't need 500 books. You need 250 books. 250 books, that's your print run. You know what? If you had less than 50 backers, 150 books is more than enough. Because you don't want to be stuck. I mean, you think that you're going to go to that convention and that you're going to sell through 100 books. No, you're not. You're not going to sell through 100 books. The majority of people, maybe they'll sell 20, 25 books on a good weekend, on a really good weekend. But there's a lot of people asking for money at those conventions, and each one of those autographs that they came there for are costing them money. So they're not spending money on the unknown indie creator like they used to. It's not how it works anymore, guys. So you don't need this massive amounts of stock because you're going to be using that for Christmas gifts for the next 30 years if you're not careful. And
the thing is, like, people have to understand the power of scarcity. You know what I mean? Like, if you're sold out at a comic book convention, people are going to remember that.
Don't be afraid to sell out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, dude, I am so close.
If you're sold out.
Issue 2, volume 2 of of the hybrids paperback.
Mhm.
It's I think I've got 2 copies left. Like it's almost sold out.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna let it stay sold out for a little while.
Yeah,
Should have
exactly.
got on it. Should have got on it.
That would
Sorry.
create buzz. Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to remember that they're not Nintendo, and even Nintendo took like 30, 40 years to build a brand.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. It takes a
You are
long
not
time.
Nintendo.
Now, yeah, you're gonna save money per unit if you could do a larger print run, but you got to think: am I gonna sell that many? Randy and I have 3,000 copies of several books.
I seem to be
I have
reminded
only
of
one.
all the time anymore. Yes,
Right.
thank
I
you.
only have one book. Randy has a few.
I got 3. Yeah. One of them we're going to have a bonfire for this spring, probably.
Right.
But anyway.
And I am likely never going to sell through all of those books. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I'm likely never going to sell through all of them.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Right?
We'll see what,
Yeah, and the
we'll
thing
see
is,
what
like,
the next
when
year
you have-
brings. You know?
Yeah, when you have like that big inventory, like that's gonna deteriorate with time. Like having stock, maybe like there's the humidity factor. Maybe it gets moldy. You know, like it's not that interesting, especially with books because they
I've got
deteriorate.
it. I've got a dehumidifier next to them. We spray for silverfish, but the truth is, I give away more books, issue 1s.
Yeah.
Than anything. I give away like handfuls. Like I'll go to an event and I'm passing out issue 1s, and unfortunately it's got this big sticker on the back, this big image on the back that I don't really well drawn, beautiful image. It's just got this crap smeared right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Figure out how to get rid of that. We'll be all set.
yeah. So it continues, I never could figure out how this system was supposed to work better than the previous one. In the old system, stores received the pre-release list a week or so before release date, with the maximum order quantities at which each store was capped. Stores would then submit their orders to their representative, with stores with large GW communities, Game Workshop communities, complaining about how few of each item the store would receive and how much caviling they could expect from their customers when they realized they were not going to get the new box set on the release date, if at all. The problem is that there has been a breakdown in communications between the stores and Game Workshop somehow. We and several other stores followed the new procedures and received the orders satisfactorily through the Army box set on Black Friday. Since then, though, we and several other stores have not received any of the new releases solicited under the new program. No Necron's Codex, no Legion Imperialis, no new Necromunda, nothing. We're getting restocks already, although they are taking a couple of weeks to arrive. So I worry about doubling up on orders, but no new releases. Happily, at least here, we've seen little interest on the Legion Imperialist figures. In fact, those people that pre-ordered them canceled their pre-orders after we ordered, so I guess we should be glad nothing arrived. Wow. The Disney Lurkana frenzy appears to have peaked, at least for first chapter booster boxes, which are now selling for
There was a
around
frenzy.
yeah, selling for around Keystone, give or take $10. Booster boxes of most TCGs sell for about 10% to 25% over cost. So seeing booster boxes of the game move at Keystone online is still pretty good, but we are not seeing demand pushing the price up to triple cost anymore. First chapter troves and gift sets are still commanding prices 20 to 30% over Ravensburger's, that's a fun name, MSRP. Rise of the Floodborn is still in high demand, with booster boxes still selling for triple cost. as are the troves and collector sets. See, this is the value of limited quantities. When there's only so much available, the prices go up. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you can't really abuse it, but you should keep that into consideration. But
Well, I think the
not
problem
making
is
it,
the publishers.
yeah.
The publishers get frustrated because the retailers are the ones that are seeing that markup. They're not selling the product for any more to these retailers. So the publishers want to make more products so that they actually get their money out of it. You know, it's like seeing your book sell on eBay for 4 or 5 times its value.
Yeah.
You didn't make that money. Somebody else is making that money. Somebody that only gave you $5 for the book.
Yeah.
They're the ones that's making, you know, $30, $40 off of it. So they've made a hefty profit while you're sitting there still trying to figure out how you're going to buy bread.
Yep.
Buy Wheaties, right?
Yeah.
It's
or
crazy.
weed, depending on your
Or weed. We're
what
supposedly
kind of
going to
artist
see
you are.
a restock of Floodborne boosters in the next week or so, and we'll see how much demand there is for the product. The League kits provided by Ravensburger for Lorcan are top notch. I just wish the company had looked at the past TCG's releases and launched it better. They didn't do a good job. All right, back to comic books, guys. This one's a good one.
Yes. I thought they were speaking Farsi for a moment. Like, I didn't understand what you were talking
Marvel
about.
to settle with the state of Steve Ditko.
Ditko. Yeah. This is
I'm
good
gonna
news.
take this one, Randy.
Is it?
Marvel Comics and the estate of Steve Ditko have filed paperwork indicating they intend to settle their court case, Deadline reports. The estate had filed termination notices in 2021 asserting it held the rights to Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange. Marvel and parent company Disney claimed the characters were created as works for hire and responded by suing the estate. On December 6th, lawyers for Disney and Ditko's estate notified the court that they intend to settle. The terms of the settlement are confidential.
Of course they are.
In June 2023, Marvel settled 4 similar lawsuits against writer Larry Lieber, Stan's brother, by the way, and the estates of Don Heck, Gene Colan, and Don Rico. Good on them,
Yeah.
I say.
And because we
Yeah,
can't
there
talk
is,
about
like-
any of the details,
And
Yeah.
I sincerely hope the Ditko estate is being paid millions, and it's totally unfortunate that Steve Ditko doesn't see any of this himself. It just all goes to his estate.
Yeah.
Because if Marvel had been not even remotely generous, but had been adequately agreeable to Ditko in the first place, Ditko would have never left Spider-Man. He'd have never stopped Doctor Strange. But he left because he asked for some compensation because he saw these characters being used in other venues, and they told him no. So once he had enough of Stan's editorializing on Spider-Man and going through and changing the stories that he was pretty much plotting and writing, he walked.
he
And
wasn't
had
getting any
enough.
royalty checks.
No,
Yeah.
they never
okay,
did.
guys, but why this is good news, at least in my book, is this makes Miles Morales irrelevant now. Because the sole reason because of Miles Morales existing was this fight over the Spider-Man with the Ditko's.
The real legal reason, yes.
Yeah. So this makes Miles Morales irrelevant, even though he's like well liked right now. Like they don't need to replace Peter Parker now.
I like Miles.
I'm sorry if you're hearing that banging. I'm still constructing upstairs.
So I know we don't
Yeah,
have
it's all right. I live in the jungle. I'm used to it.
Speaking of irrelevant,
Yep. Ah! What's this?
Spitter Boy.
Spider Boy.
Spider-Boy.
Ah.
The original name for Miles Morales until they realized maybe it wouldn't be appropriate. But anyway, these are unit and dollar sales rankings based on sales tracked by point of sale by the Comics Hub system at stores selling American comics around the world. During the period for which these reports were generated, there were over 125 stores using the Comic Hub system. As this is a small, non-random sample of over 3,000, that number is high. Over 3,000 stores selling American comics worldwide.
Well, maybe
These-
worldwide, yeah, maybe.
and
Not
these
new
rankings-
releases. There's a store in Korea that sells back issues.
Oh, back issues. These rankings may not be typical for all stores, but do represent a variety of locations and store emphasis. This data was collected based on a 4-week month from October 29th to December 2nd, 2023. These sales rankings represent sales to customers by comic stores during the period. We're reporting the top 50 comics on the public site and the top 200 comics on the pro site.
And they used to give you the numbers of units
So if you-
sold, but they don't do that anymore.
If you pay us, well, nobody gives out numbers sold anymore.
Yeah, so that used to be the pro. You used to get that. That's why I stopped paying for the pro. Because for a while I paid for the pro so I could share those articles with everyone here. But it turned out that, we don't care about the top 200. We care about the top 50 and how they're moving.
So Russ says next up will be Spider, They, Them.
Spider, they, them.
Russ, don't give him ideas, man. Don't give him ideas.
So believe it or not,
Oh, I'm sure that's
Spider-Boy-
already past the desk
Yeah.
up there.
So believe it or not, Spider-Boy was number 1.
This is American comics too. All the mangas and all the YA stuff's all cut out. So yeah.
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 So it gives it a better. So
Yep.
I mean, I can't. There's nothing of spectacular note here.
Well, I'm shocked that number 10 is Unnatural Order by Vault Comics. 1 of 4. No idea what that title is, but it's in their top 10.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What did Vault do? Any other titles you're familiar with?
Apparently, Unnatural Order.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the
Now
it's in the article.
The Punisher number 1, is that the new blonde
Not
Aryan
Frank Castle.
Punisher?
Yeah.
Not Frank Castle?
Yeah.
Because Frank Castle died and got cooked by his wife in hell, right?
That's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He got like his assets taken away from his death wife. Like, yeah, that makes no legal sense.
His assets and his testicular fortitude, literally. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they cucked him. Thanos number 1 at 29. Batman Off-World number 1 of 6. There are some
Supergirl
one-shots,
special.
there's some, yeah.
Supergirl special number 1. Is that the issue that she deals with her super pimple?
No, I
That-
don't
that
think
was
so.
a while
That's
ago.
a while ago. That was
Okay.
funny though. I actually thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It goes everywhere.
Sport.
I like that. I mean, that's the kind of
Yeah.
silliness I like to see in comics. Let's do more of that. I don't care
That's
about
it.
forget.
That's a not Brand X story, though. That's not a
Someone-
Supergirl story.
Someone made fun of me on Twitter. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
No, I got this pimple, and I gotta figure that out.
That's the new villain, the Zitster.
I mean, could you imagine? I mean, all right, so
I'm sorry, I just gave them that idea. I need
well,
to
yeah. So
trademark.
honestly, let's think about this. Okay, so it's funny. You could play like you could do. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff with with Supergirl, and
Look at number 50.
it's Jeff, the Jeff verse.
Jeff.
I gotta find out what that is. What is it? It's Jeff.
Yeah, maybe it's the story of Jeff Bezos. Like, it'll be
If there's a
something like
barrel, we'll scrape the bottom of it.
that. Yeah,
Make mine marble. Yeah.
it's Jeff.
It's Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
Jeff Potts says Spider Zim. There we are.
Hmm.
See an angry little Spider-Man running around.
It's
Jeff.
It's
Jeff.
Jeff.
Oh, you know what? That actually looks cool, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
mean-
cool looking cover.
It's something
Yeah.
different, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that
new.
shark
So
is Jeff.
Jeff is
I
the
would
shark?
actually look
Yeah,
at that
dude,
in a
I
comic
love
shop.
it.
I like the
Yeah.
dinosaur. He looks cool.
The dangerously adorable Jeff the Land Shark returns.
Nice.
Jeff the Land
we are.
Shark embarks on another series of madcap adventures with guest spots from some of your favorite heroes. Whether he's orchestrating a pet shop takeover or solving a high-stakes mystery like, what's the best street food snack? The answer will shock you, true believer. Jeff is flipping his fantastic fins all over the Marvel universe, stealing hearts and cookies with equal impunity. Collecting issues 13 through 24 of the hit Infinity comic series from the Marvel Unlimited app. This one-shot features a brand new cover and never before seen story from beloved creators Kelly Thompson and Gurihiru.
Okay, so this is cute though. Like I wouldn't
cute.
mind if Marvel does more of this. This is Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is what
If they do
everything
more
I-
of this, yeah, dude, this is fun.
Looks like
This is-
Lockheed in the background.
This is what everybody's been asking Marvel to do for years now, to get back
Not
Not
on
take
making,
themselves so seriously. Yeah.
yeah, and make new stuff.
Make new
Make
stuff.
new
Make new
stuff,
stuff.
And find new readers. Look, this is perfect for.
for a kid. Yeah, like
Well,
I
we
would
don't-
give that. Well,
I would read it, and I think
I read it
you
first. I will read it first.
Yeah.
And then see if I can give it to my nephew. If it's like a non-binary shark or something, then no.
I
it
do
could
want
be
to
bad.
point out. Look, that is alligator Loki.
It is.
That's alligator Loki.
Is that Devil Dinosaur?
Yeah.
The dinosaur there? I
Probably.
don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't been following that book for a while.
There's a dog with a pizza frisbee. Like, yeah, this looks like
That's
a
definitely
fun book.
Lockheed in the background there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing things. That dinosaur has a nose ring. That's
It
a red
does.
flag right there.
Well, you put like nose rings in bowls.
I mean, to be,
I don't know,
be
man.
fair, you can see the social justice warrior in the back middle right there
Yep.
with the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's that
That's
cat
not a pig,
from the
though.
movie.
Yeah.
That's the cat.
Oh,
that
it's a
took,
flurkin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cat that took
That's they call it a flurkin.
The flurkin, yeah.
Fury's eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
The flurkin.
Funny.
Yeah.
Good
But
on
still,
them.
it looks like a fun book.
It
So
does.
congratulations, Marvel. Yeah.
Congratulations. You don't suck that bad today.
Yeah.
Because your
That's
top
interesting.
50 books
Today.
is in there.
Today.
I'm very interested in this Vault book, though. What is this that broke the top 10?
Number 10. Yeah, you just scrolled past it. There.
Unnatural Order number 1. Let's check
Yeah.
that one out.
It's Jeff again.
Vault does stuff.
It's always
like
Jeff.
Barbaric. Queen of the Swamps. Quest Aside.
Says Kelly Thompson wrote it, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Like, yeah.
Where's Lockjaw as a person of size?
And Christopher Yost.
Yost.
Christopher
Yost.
Yost. Val
That's a
Rodriguez.
funny sounding name. Yo,
Jabala Kelly, colorist.
Dedabala. It's Dedabala.
And World Design is the letterer.
And World.
Connor Boyle,
Wow.
cover artist.
And World is a name?
No, it's a company. They hired a
Oh.
firm.
And World. Okay. Oh,
This
sorry.
limited edition Vault Vintage exclusive cover of Unnatural Order number 1 is the rarest Unnatural Order number 1 cover. Oh, they're just talking about the cover.
Limited to 100 copies. They must have sold, $30.
After the fall of the Britons and the Roman invasion of Hibernia, the captive known only as the Druid is released, sending a darkness across the world, an age of horrors, of fire and entrails, as the innocent burn in the wicker fields. Ooh. Those who would resist learn of the existence of a man who even the Druid fears, for it is this prisoner, a soldier from a different time, who alone knows the Druid's secret. This is not how the world is supposed to be.
Oh.
Okay, now
Intriguing.
on a side note, I just want to point out this limited edition book that's only limited to 100 with a price tag of $30. That's the number 10 book for the month.
Yep.
That's how much money is really being. Now, what did the 20th book do? What did the 30th book do?
Yeah.
That's how much money is left in this
Well,
market.
it says no. It
There's
says it
not
was
a lot.
$4.99. It says it was
Oh, was it?
$4.99.
Oh,
Must have been a different edition of the book then.
yeah, probably like the normal cover or whatever.
Yeah.
Normal edition. So confusing.
And is that one of the books that they
This is
gave away?
previews. Was it Vault that was giving books away?
I don't remember.
In shops November 1st.
One of them was giving their number ones away. They were boasting an initial print order of 100,000. Remember that? I think that might have been it.
Let me see. Are there any other order?
The Russ wanted to know what's
That's a
going on
different
with
one
those
now.
faces.
Well,
I'd like
It's
to.
an unnatural order indeed.
Yeah.
right.
I'd like to know who's got the Blue Man Group in the background there with.
Here's Bleeding Cool news.
Oh, all
I
right.
hear it.
They get an order of 137,000 copies. Well,
Yeah.
they would do. So Vault Comics has announced that orders of that orders for Unnatural Order number 1 from writer Chris Yost and artist Val Rodriguez has exceeded 137,000 copies at the time of the issue's final order cutoff. Vault Comics says that this makes Unnatural Order number 1 one of the best-selling new independent comics of 2023 and of the last decade, which is not exactly true. Most orders,
Yeah.
certainly, but in order to sell someone something, you do have to get some money for it. Because
Yeah.
last month, Vault delayed the release of Unnatural Order number 1 from July to October and made it completely free to retailers while retaining $4.99 cover price, which might just help a vulnerable direct market of comic book stores right now and turn a comic book that might have had 20,000 copies out there if it was lucky to one that had 117,000 copies, more copies on retailers' shelves. Whatever happens, what is bound to increase the order for full price Unnatural Order number 2. Vault Comics is claiming that
Unnatural
this is
Order,
the
indeed.
completely new model for launching. This is the company that's doing that.
Yeah.
You get as many retail like $4.99 issue 1s as you want, or first release issues as you want.
And they can chalk that
And
off
you
as
have
an
to-
advertising expense.
Yeah,
too.
and you have to buy
What a great
the-
way to do that.
Yeah, you have to buy the variant cover that costs $50.
It'll be
And it's only
interesting to
100
see what Unnatural Orders 2 through 4 pull down, and it's a shame they didn't do that for an ongoing series instead of a limited one.
Right.
I was about to say the same thing.
Here's a quote. I was stunned by the orders on Unnatural Order, pun intended. I still can't even wrap my head around it, said Yost.
That's because they gave it to the retailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
As
retailers are gonna take
opposed to
free
how
books.
Marvel and DC give it to the retailers
Yeah,
every month.
let me go and take free
Yeah.
books. That's all right.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting marketing ploy. It'll be very interesting to see how it settles out and if the retailers actually appreciate it.
So, but here, the reason why they delayed the release was because the orders were so low.
Yeah.
So they promoted the book from July through
To
October. And then gave
That's
it
beca-
away.
That's because all these retailers in the Diamond catalog order 3 months in advance. So they have to guesstimate what they're doing 3 months from now.
And so they said, you know what, with all this stuff, let me go and get the free book. I would
Just
be
screw
interested
it.
to know how
Just give the thing
free
away.
book-
Chalk it off as an advertising expense and
Yeah.
see what happens. It's a
So
smart move.
I would be interested to see how the book sold though,
Yeah. Me too.
because this is retail. This is copies to the retailers. So we know
Well,
number
even if
10
it
had
didn't-
100.
Even if they
30-some thousand
didn't
copies.
sell it, what a great marketing ploy that is, because a retailer could go, hey, I got this book for free. You want to read it? You want to take one?
Yeah, maybe they'll get number 2
Somebody gets
sold.
number 2.
Yeah.
Let's see this month's numbers when they come out, in January to see what.
Now, are they going to do that monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly? Because if they were smart, they were doing it quarterly, so that the issues for or the orders for number 2 would come in after they saw number 1.
Yep. I mean, it moved him up
But who
to number
knows?
10.
Yeah,
Whether
I
completed
got him
or
up
not,
to number
it's
10.
there.
Yeah, yep.
What's our chat think? What do you guys think?
It's not like they.
It's
make
all about
money on it.
perception.
Rubbish. It's the
Yeah.
sequential.
Yeah.
If
But
the
it's the long
sequential
game,
matched
which
the
is cool.
cover,
Yep.
you'll be lucky to get repeat customers if the retailers gave it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here,
I mean,
here
this is
a
more for
similar-
like the uninformed customer that will go like, hey, what's the best selling comic? I want to read it. Like people would come with that attitude. Might fall for this.
Spider Zen.
It's coming. Don't say that too loud. Yeah. I'll never get royalties for that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys,
You made it.
Iron Maiden frontman pins comic series tied to the new solo album.
Now, isn't Iron Maiden's frontman also a big
He's
physicist?
a pilot.
Isn't he?
No,
Bruce
he's a
Dickinson.
pilot. He's an airplane pilot.
It's the other guy that's a quantum physicist.
Yeah, the bass player.
Is that Iron? No, it might have been Iron Butterfly. I was thinking of.
No,
Yeah, yeah. Iron Maiden. You have Bruce Dickinson on vocals and the bassist.
you have May. Brian May is a scientist.
Yeah. The
No,
bass
one
player
of
is
the-
a historian.
No,
Yeah.
Iron Maiden or Iron Butterfly has a big, like a quantum physicist or something like that. Somebody who broke really
Yeah,
heavy
yeah.
ground,
Gene Simmons is an English teacher.
Yeah.
which is amazing.
But I mean, from Iron Maiden to Iron Butterfly, there's a big rock and roll history in between those
Yeah.
two bands. So, yeah.
22 Publishing, a 12-issue mini comic series.
Z2.
Oh, Z2. Sorry.
Z2
Looked like
Publishing.
Z. The Mandrake Project is by Iron Maiden frontman Bruce Dickinson.
Yep.
That will be a
The Bruce
companion
Dickinson.
piece to his upcoming solo album. Dickinson developed the story, which is being scripted by Tony Lee, with art by Staz Johnson, coloring by Gabbo, lettering by Troy Petreri,
Pathetic.
covers
Oh,
by Bill
pathetic.
Sienkiewicz. Petreri. Bill Sienkiewicz. The comic will be released quarterly over 3 years, with a trade paperback released every fall. The format will be 9 3/5 by 9 3/5
It's a
square,
square.
with a cardstock cover, and it will be. There was
Oh,
a
I get it. So you can put it on the
what is
CD.
that? Strange Numbers. Strange. There was another
Oh.
book that was kicked out not long. I should say not long ago, about 20 years ago. That was in the same size. It's very
It's
much
like
a cube
CD dimension, right?
cube
It's either
format.
that or an LP.
No,
size.
yeah, that's an LP size.
Is it?
It's like a
Yeah, LP
record
size.
player.
Like
it's
record
like-
album
yeah.
size? That's cool.
Yeah, CD's like
Yeah,
3
cool.
inches, 4 inches.
Yeah.
That's a little over 9 and a
It's
quarter.
slightly smaller than an album cover, then, isn't it? Isn't that like 10 and a half by 10 and a half?
Yeah, so you can shrink
Probably a
wrap it with the
packaging
album
thing.
with a vinyl.
The cardstock cover will be shipped in a sealed plastic bag with a first printing certificate of authenticity. The first issue
No
will
gem
be
on that.
returnable. First issue will be returnable. Will be released on January 17th, 2024, with a cover price of $10. The next 4 issues will follow in March, June, and September, and the first trade available on November 6th, 2024. Z2 will also make an 8x8 copy of the Mandrake Project Alpha number 1, a limited edition preview, available to retailers for pullbox customers for free. The Mandrake Project Alpha number 1 was originally released in a larger format as a limited edition preview at the 2023 Comic-Con Experience Sao Paulo, Brazil, where Dickinson was the keynote speaker. The preview comic includes sketches by Sienkiewicz and reflections on the making of the series. Dickinson's single Afterglow of Ragnarok, which was released on December 1st, 2023, included an 8-page prologue. The album, also titled The Mandrake Project, will be released in March 2024, and both CD and vinyl editions will include a preview comic. Dickinson plans to tour and make promotional appearances for both the album and the comic through 2025.
That's
The
cool.
the single issue comic format is unusual for Z2, which usually publishes graphic novels. Z2's models has always rested firmly in the graphic novel space, said editor-in-chief Rands A. Hosley. in a statement accompanying the announcement. But when we sat down with Bruce and discussed the story of the Mandrake Project and the experience that he wanted the readers to have with it, we realized two very important things. First, that this was a story that we had to be a part of. It reminded us of reading the iconic titles from Vertigo. And second, realization was that the Mandrake Project had to be released as a comic series, and as anyone in comics knows, releasing a series is a different animal.
Okay, so there's a thing I want to say about.
Anyway,
There's a thing I want to say about this project, that the fact that it's Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, this is immediate success. Because the Iron Maiden fan throughout the world, and we're talking millions of people, will consume anything that says Iron Maiden or any other members of the band. So good for Bruce Dickinson, and nobody else can do this but him.
I like Bruce Dickinson.
it'll be good. It's got its own built-in audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But it's like the fanatism. It's something that you don't see. Maybe Kiss as as dedicated fans of Iron Maiden. So
Yeah, like their comic, boy, their
but
comic
after
sold.
that first Kiss comic, everything was downhill from there. So
no, but if you go to
but-
many countries in Latin America, there's like chapters of the Kiss Army, and they have parties and whatnot. They
But
paint
did you hear what? So Kiss had their final live show.
Yeah,
And
I
they
don't believe
revealed
them.
they revealed that they now have avatars. So they're going to have a digital, like a 3D. They have 3D concerts, so that so that people can enjoy Kiss songs forever. So after their death, their avatars are going to be performing.
there you go.
Not well after death. Well after Gene Simmons dies, then that's gonna suck because Gene is not gonna make any more money. It's how
Well, his
that's how
estate
that-
will make money.
Yeah.
Buried
That's
in
how that
set
works.
his coffin too. Yeah.
Yeah, he has set his kids up and for life, man. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Gene Simmons is like one of the first, like truly
Rock star.
brilliant businessmen that is an artist of some kind, right? That to leverage their talent into something else. I think the other one for me is Todd McFarlane is one of those people.
Yeah.
That's like, look, I'm really good at drawing comic books, but let's be really good at making toys. Let's be really good at at doing all kinds of stuff to set up
managing a brand. Yeah.
a life.
Buying baseballs.
Yeah, I mean honestly, the sports figures that his company produces are
Oh yeah.
and sports memorabilia. It is arguably a lot more money than comic books could ever generate.
Yep.
Because
Saw the
people
need and
will
he
buy
filled
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because people will buy. I mean, heck, I'll buy anything with a Jaguar on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, sure, I'll take that, right?
Yeah, and I understand Ted McFarlane is like a huge baseball fan, and he used to be a player, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's these guys. I mean, they're just brilliant. It makes sense. That's why when I see someone like Elon Musk, the dude is brilliant.
And the cool thing about this project, to bring us back to our article, is that if they're not promoting it through record stores, they're missing a huge opportunity.
Are there
Yeah.
any record stores left besides an F?
Exactly. I was gonna.
The number of record stores are growing exponentially. It's amazing how big vinyl is coming back.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I did not know that.
I'm kind of curious though. Like,
And
does
the
anybody-
thing is, I'm sorry to cut you off, Whiskey, but the thing is with the vinyl stores now is that they're becoming almost like comic shops used to be. There's new vinyl that's coming out all the time, but it's the old vinyl that are keeping these stores in play. And they're paying top dollar for some of these. There are key albums that are worth a lot of money, and other stuff that they can't, they can't hand out fast enough.
Some stuff just doesn't sound as good.
But there's always going to be a collector's market for Zeppelin and Floyd and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And especially
But you don't
the
want
original
to listen
presses.
to Mudvayne and like vinyl. Like it's just like it's modern recording, and it doesn't sound that good in a record. I'm sorry, but no.
What I'm kind of curious about with the format of this comic, and I've seen other, indie creators do this as well.
Strange Attractors, I think, was the name of the comic that come out in a square format like this.
so with like the form, like not the format, but like the the album with the book. Are you reading them together? You put the album on. Do you like is it supposed to be timed where the average reader is like, okay, or do they they have like an instruction or a lead in, like where you, as soon as the song changes, flip the page, like what do you
like the old like storybooks. Like when you hear the chime, turn the page.
that's. I'm sure it's a
guess.
companion to the song albums. There's no timing there involved.
Yeah, well,
you listen to
there's
the
a-
album separate. You can read
Yeah.
the story separate and not have listened to the music.
Well, so
There's
this
an
book that
indie
I'm-
creator who's doing that. Odin Dasco doing Kill Them Death, I think it's called, and
Yeah,
they're
Kill 'Em
making
Death.
a record alongside the comic book. So yeah, this is
Well,
not a new
he's not the
concept.
first one to do that. Like Matt Knowles does that with his band.
Yeah.
And so this book that I'm working on, Terminal Kill, that I talked about at the beginning of the show, he has a soundtrack for the book. And in the lettering, we say, play this song or whatever. And we're going to have a QR code that we're going to stick there where people can scan that with their phone and pull up a YouTube playlist so that they can listen to the song while they read the scene. An interesting concept, indeed, so that you can have like the immersive sound and reading and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's neat because, let's be honest, when I'm writing a story, I'm normally listening to a song. In fact, there's a story that I've been working on for a while that I've just kind of been tweaking over time that is inspired by a song and a playlist that I'll listen to when I start to work on that song. So it's not a new concept, but it is. I think people are starting to package it more that way. They're realizing because CDs, vinyl, that market is. I mean, Best Buy doesn't even carry CDs anymore. They
No.
stopped carrying CDs. They got rid of all of them this year.
CDs,
But
yes,
you know what?
but
Yeah,
they-
this is kind of like left field, but the fact that people don't really own what they're buying on stream, it's going to affect the sales of physical media, and that's going to affect music too. Because the things like nobody has been hit more with like digital content than music. Like dude, the record industry has disappeared for years
and
because of that.
and like as more time goes by, the more people realize that they want physical, and the digital is fine for certain needs. But when you're at home relaxing, you want to be able to look at your shelves and see a row of records or a row of books. You know, it
Something
just
about
adds to
collecting.
it just adds to the value of what you collect and what you love. It adds to your passion. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, and
It
like
adds-
your nephew comes over, your grandkid or whatever, or
Oh,
like
yeah.
your son. It's Christmas time or it's Thanksgiving or whatever, and you're like, hey, and they're just starting to get into music, and you're like, hey, have you heard this album? There you go. Right? Like
Just don't let them touch your records, though.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things
all.
now is on reaction videos on YouTube of these kids, and by kids,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean late 20s to early 40s, sitting down going, I never heard of this Pink Floyd.
I
What's
never
this
heard
about?
Pantera.
Yeah.
Of course, you've never heard of it.
Pearl Jam's
Liar.
Black. Wow, it looks like this guy's got some passion. Anyway, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. So disingenuous, man.
Top 20 graphic novels,
Oh.
November 2023. Here's the list, folks. What the hell is that first one?
World Tree.
World 33, 23.
World Tree.
World Tree.
Volume 1. Image Comics.
Okay,
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Last Ronin.
Nice.
hardcover,
Yep. Now,
$40.
Yep.
Saga Volume 11.
Mature.
Monica.
Fantagraphics Books. Monica hardcover. It's got a $24, $25. Number 2 and number 3 are $30. World Tree had to do pretty good at $10. It had to sell.
Never heard of
others
it.
Quite a bit.
And are they sure that they spelt that right? Looks like they used a 0 and and 2 3s.
They did.
Elevate your celebrations.
World Tree.
Oh, I guess it is. Yeah.
Gabriel and his friend discover the Undernet, a secret architecture to the internet. They charted their exploration on a message board called World Tree. Then they lost control. Someone broke into World Tree, someone who welcomed the violent hold the Undernet had on them. At great personal cost, Gabriel and the others thought they sealed the Undernet away for good. They were wrong, and now they will know the meaning of fear, spelled PH34R. I love this.
Oh,
The next major horror outing from multiple Eisner Award winning writer James Tinian IV, The Department of Truth, The Nice House on the Lake, and Fernando Blanco, Detective Comics, along with Eisner-winning colorist Jordi Belair and Eisner-nominated letterer Aditya Bidikar.
So the entire series is a group of guys sitting in front of their computers talking to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're role playing the Matrix.
Is that what it is? They're
They're
role playing
role-playing
the
the
Matrix?
Matrix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder how that
I'm Neo.
works.
No, I was Neo. You were Neo the last time. It's my turn to be Neo. Like, okay.
Some of these covers are neat.
It's kind of like a
Yeah,
take
it
on,
looks cool.
a little. It's like a weird take on The Ring, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
But I don't know.
Especially
This
the way
game's
that
more
one
like
character's
Matrix.
staring at her TV. Yeah.
Yeah. It's giving
She
me more
looks
like Matrix,
jacked up.
more like what's the other movie? The one
what
with the
modern-
replicants.
That's what modern comics has come to.
Yeah. The one with the replicants. And dude, like this is like a sci-fi classic, and I'm just missing the name right now.
That covers
Blade
a
Runner.
lot.
Yeah.
You know, if this came out like
No
40
interiors.
years ago, it might be interesting.
This looks
Yeah.
like a
Interiors.
Vertigo
Yeah,
title.
given
does.
that Blade Runner like eerie vibes. But
There's a
look,
trailer
are
for
these interiors?
Run that trailer.
Even the music.
What?
Pretty good.
Hope you're not going to get struck.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah. This is full like cyberpunk from the early 90s.
Oh, there's a dead girl.
Yeah.
I like the art style. I like this kind of like underground
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
the alternative feel.
Oh, that was nice.
Brett Levins reminds me of.
Yeah, and it's got a
Yeah.
little bit of a. It's also kind of got a little bit of a Crow feel.
Very
little
Vertigo.
bit.
I don't see a
Yeah,
lot of
dark.
Obar in that, but that's, yeah.
This looks nice.
Yeah.
That doesn't,
And-
it still looks good, yeah.
Yeah.
It does
And
look
I
good.
was vindicated. because that song was very Vangelis, like very Blade Runner-ish. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool stuff.
That's what Hojo says.
yeah.
Hojo says Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner. There you go.
Something is Killing the Children, Volume 1.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So far so good.
Invincibles there.
That's by
One Piece.
quantity, by dollar.
Please.
Number 4
Oh.
is Thor at $150.
Jason Aaron. Omnibus, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Jason Aaron's done enough Thor to make an omnibus? And a
Apparently.
second
Yeah.
volume. Wee. Okay.
Yeah, that Monica from Fantagraphics book has a very like retro look to it. Like I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Daredevil
Yeah,
by
it's-
Wade. Omnibus hardcover volume 1, $100.
Or,
What the heck? Sandman Morpheus Helm Masterpiece Edition Mature, $500.
wow.
Yeehaw. Ka-ching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smoke 'em all you got 'em, DC.
15. They sold like
Yeah, dude.
20. They sold like
Wow.
20. They sold like 20, make number 15 or something. I don't know. That's
Smoke 'em while
crazy,
you got
man.
'em.
Yeah, you
That's
sell
nuts.
15, you make
Well,
bank.
at 500 per unit, that's probably pretty easy to hit that list.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I want to just talk about the beginning of this article here. So, this culture war, we've seen it happen in movies. We've seen it happen in TV. We've seen it happen in comics. It's starting to hit music a little bit. You know, we're noticing people getting, because of their political leanings, getting booted off of digital release formatting kind of websites. And so people are trying to come up with their own alternatives, like Fund My Comic is for comics and games. Free speech
That
alternatives.
happened to King Bull, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that movie, like, I can't wait to watch it. The
So,
Warren.
so check this out. The box office is not, in America, is not dominated by now, like we expect. Like if you go to another country and if the movie's been, an American movie's been released there, that it's gonna kill.
Is that this
country,
week?
right?
The Boy and the Heron is out.
And the Heron. Yeah.
I gotta go see that at the theater.
2 Japanese films
dude.
broke U.S. box. So it says this. So it's mid-holiday season, and the showbiz news is still merrily rolling in. Time for a roundup. 2 Japanese films broke U.S. box office records this weekend. Studio Ghibli's The Boy and the Heron, the new anime feature by Hayao Miyazaki.
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 Yeah, Miyazaki.
I would get there eventually,
Yeah.
guys. Come on.
Miyazaki.
I'll get there eventually.
Literally
Hayao
Japan's
Miyazaki.
Walt Disney during his classic period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the number 1 film for the weekend with a $12.8 million gross. Wow. According to Variety. This is the first time an original anime production has topped the domestic box office. Meanwhile, Tahoe's Godzilla Minus One came in third, grossing $8.3 million.
But what the boy and the Heron looks like in the trailer, a male version of Spirited Away, and Spirited Away was the first movie to receive an Oscar for
Spirited
best
Away is
animated
good.
movie.
Spirited
Randy,
Away is
Randy,
really
give
good.
me the guitar for a little second, because this Boy and the Heron is the swan song for Miyazaki. So you're gonna see reference to all of his movies, from Nausicaa, the Blood of the Winds, all the way up to the last one, which was like the kid with the water thing. So this is like his swan song. Like he's really like out there in his 80s. He's not gonna direct another film. And from what I read on the reviews, this movie is beautiful. It's moving. It's touching, and it's just like a visual banquet.
Just
for
incredible.
anyone to go see it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like you're gonna see all references to like My Neighbor Totoro, like all the movies he's done all throughout his career. So yeah, it's a good setup, and I'm really happy for him.
You really
heard
need to go
nothing
see
but
that
good
at the theater.
things.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about Godzilla Minus One.
That too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fun.
It grossed
even-
$8.3 million.
Even the video channels on YouTube that are normally trollish and negative and horrible, they're like, "Holy crap, Godzilla Minus One is amazing." It's like that's cool. Yeah.
And that was just
All
over
for
the
that.
weekend. So it's
Yeah.
domestic. It's brought in domestically now $25.3 million,
Yeah.
which is the highest grossing live action Japanese film in domestic box office
Of
history.
all time.
That's good.
Yeah,
We
but
are-
how much of that is like how good that movie is, and how much of that is the fault of Hollywood not putting anything good this year?
I believe
I think it's a
number two-
combination of the two, and again, we're just desperate to be entertained, you know,
Well, number 2
Yeah.
was
by a
the
good
Hunger
quality
Games.
film. It looks amazing. It looks super quality. They said it was only made for 15 million.
30 million.
Well, I know
30
number
million?
two. Number 2 was the Hunger Games, which at number 2 is still, but it's not making money. Like it's really, it's if you look at its numbers, it's kind of a flop. In fact, we might.
But that's the
actually-
thing. Like a movie that took like $30 million to make, it's making money if it picks up $20 million in one day.
Yeah.
These Hollywood movies are done by hundreds of millions of dollars, and the overhead is just so vast that even though people go watch it, it has to be like a smash hit for them to get their money back. Like this business model is not working anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just look up the box office numbers real quick. That's November
Guess we're
17th.
gonna
That's
see
been
a slew of walking movies, maybe like when Lord of the Rings came out. The original.
Yeah, the walking movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
The quintessential hiking movie, Lord of the Rings. It was just a hype.
Here we go.
What did
As
that
of
cost
December
me?
12th, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes has grossed 137.7 million in the United States and Canada and 145.1 million in other territories for worldwide
Bigger than the
total
marbles.
of 282.7 million.
But
Let's find out what its I want to find out what its budget was.
yeah.
All right, so someone write that down. 282.7. And then I'm gonna look up budget. Had a $1 million US budget. 100 million.
Oh, 100 million.
All right, so
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
so if we do the math on that,
It's in the black now, yeah.
yeah, it's made money. It's not a flop.
But still, like it's made
It's probably
280
just
mil.
hitting the break-even point
Yeah,
considering the
so
marketing.
cut that by half. Cut that by half because like the cinemas take a cut, and then
Well,
also the
they had at least
the
100,000. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's at least 100,000 and
yeah, they're in the black, but they're not making money yet.
yeah, so the way you will work that out, so they had it's 200 million, right?
Yep.
And they get 50% of the worldwide box office,
Mhm.
basically, because they get a little bit more of the worldwide, and they only get about 40% of U.S. box office. So if you're being generous, it's 50% across the board. So they have made what was that number? 282.
Yeah.
So they've
282.
made $82 million on the movie so far. So yeah, that's what they've basically made. Estimated,
Yeah, but you're not taking into account advertising. That takes a huge chunk outside of the
No, I did take in.
Yeah, you did?
It's normally $100,000. So it's
Yeah.
$100,000 million. Sorry, 100 million. Gosh, I'm all. It was 100 million for the budget,
Yeah.
and then it's usually 100 million to 150 million for the advertising budget. So let's just say they went on the cheap side and did 100 million, right? So let's just estimate their total budget here was 200 million. All right. So at 282, they've made $82 million. Guesstimation. That's a guesstimate.
Yeah. No, but in order for it to be in the black, they have to make double that money. That's what I mean.
No.
It's-
That's what they made.
Yeah. Okay. The
Oh.
box office is 282.
Oh no,
The
that's
cinemas
right.
take a cut.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, the cinemas
I'm
take a
sorry.
cut.
Yeah, they only get
Yeah.
half that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 282.
They're still in the red.
Yeah. Yeah, they've only made 1.1 really, 1.128 million on
Maybe.
100 million. Yeah, they've only made 100 million on that. A little over. Yeah, that's not doing very good. Yeah. Yeah, it's not profitable yet. My bad,
That's
guys.
good.
Thanks for calling me on that, Pedro. Yeah, that's not good.
I'm not a math guy.
Yeah. Wow. So it's not doing very good at number 2. But I mean, obviously, these movies have made money.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the worldwide market is on these 2 movies.
Yeah. So
But
that's
these
the
two Japanese
thing.
movies. So
Yeah.
I think that this is a symptom of not. Again, it's not superhero fatigue. Obviously, The Hunger Games was wildly popular and did really well. And it's not making money. I think we overspend on how we make movies now.
Yeah.
We spend so much money on special effects and these grandiose things.
Not only
But basically-
I have to correct you again. We're not spending too much on special effects. The reshoots and the redoing and over redoing and this directing by committee. It's what
Yeah,
inflates the.
but let me finish my thought there, Pedro.
Yeah, do it.
You
do
cut
it.
me
Yeah,
off
this
too
is-
soon.
Yeah,
cut
the thing
me
that
off
you
too-
said special effects. It's my people.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, but you cut me off too soon. They're spending too
Yeah.
much
Mm-mm.
on special effects when they have nothing of substance to
Yeah.
make the effects about.
Mm.
It is like putting a suit on a corpse. It's like putting the most expensive tuxedo you can on a corpse. What's the point? You're wasting that money. You don't bury.
Yeah,
that
it all
right
goes.
there.
It goes. Yeah, it goes hand in hand that they work. They work with a loose script and they're rewriting as they're filming.
Right.
When they get the final product, they see it like it makes no sense. Let's reshoot. That inflates the budget.
But the number
And
one
that's what's
movie was an animated film, and again, there's no limit. I mean, everything's drawn. There's no limit on what you can do. Right? It's we watched this new Christmas movie, the Christmas
Batman
Swap
one?
or something like that. No, it was it had Ed Helms in it and some other people, and basically the whole family got swapped, and like the baby and the dog even got swapped, which was pretty funny. And people were upset. They was like, "Oh, it sexualized teenagers and it had incest in it." And I'm like, it did not have incest in it, and it did not sexualize teenagers. There was one weird scene where the mom's friends were like, they thought like, "Man, you guys have lost your spark. You guys go ahead and kiss, mistletoe, kiss, or whatever," right? And so it was real funny because Ed Helms is acting like the brother and then the sister, and he's like, like if you're forced to kiss your sister, pretty funny. It's just this comical scene, right?
Yeah.
And but they handled everything. I felt pretty well. I didn't, some people complaining about it, and I think those people, they just, again, drama merchants, they want to complain about everything. They want to find a problem with everything. And I watched it. It was an okay movie. It wasn't, it followed tropes that we're all familiar with, and then it pointed out those tropes, and I had a good laugh about that. But it was mildly entertaining, and it was a Christmas movie. They make 1 billion of them every year. So, but it leaned so heavily on special effects and CG. Like, for the baby and the dog's walking, the baby's barking and running around the house, like a dog. And it's funny, but it's all CG. I mean, they lean now so heavily on those things for gags and gimmicks rather than good storytelling, right?
Never watch a Korean movie, man. Like Korean sci-fi, it's all CG. Just saying.
But I'm seeing. So I, for some reason, I have Max this month, the streaming service, and Blue Beetle's up there, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to watch that, because again, there's another movie that it lacked in the substance of the character, and they were really just trying to tell again, it was the director had a narrative he wanted to talk about. He had a point he wanted to make, and he decided to hijack the Blue Beetle to do it. And it's just a lot of special effects with no real characterization of the character, and the family is more important in that story than the actual superhero that the title is, that has his name on the movie, right?
You have Max this month, and you're looking for something to watch?
Yeah.
There's an entire hub up there of Studio Ghibli movies. Everything's up there.
Yeah, I think
It's all
I'll start
there, yeah.
watching them,
You'd never get any work done, but they're phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah.
So here are some tweets that have come out.
Nice. Tweet time.
So Miller World says, "It's here. The comic stores have been suffering in recent years, and retailers say nobody's listening to them. So I talked to 3 with over 20 stores between them, with a grown-up, non-political chat with the guys on the front line." So he is talking to Phil Boyle. And if Phil Boyle in this says that it's not political, that the content's not political, that's a direct contradiction to his article that he did on ICV2.
Somebody got to him.
Yeah,
Well, he didn't want to be labeled a hater.
Yep. Because it's definitely political.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt.
What he's saying right now. Yeah,
They've
exactly.
seen it. Their customers have told them over and over again that this stuff is crap and it's not selling, and he can see it in his figures. But no, it's not political.
They're still playing it safe, man. So.
Right, yeah. So.
Yeah, it's not political.
Yeah. How dare we?
So he's sitting here talking about So we, the retailers, cultivate the fan base, yada yada, t-shirts, lunchboxes, mouse pads, corporate mandates. Where did it get off the rails? It's not such a conundrum to anyone with 2 active brain cells and list of back issues they need to complete their runs. Comics, first and foremost, have always been entertainment. Sure, collectible entertainment, which justifies the cost to entertainment ratio. But along the way, the immediate sales of false bolstering of numbers through variant covers, convoluted events, and incessant reboots left the considerations of the fans behind. Character swapping, gender bending, and changing sexual orientation on beloved characters fell flat with the Wednesday Warriors.
That's
Okay.
not political. Yeah.
How is that not political? Because they did that. They did that in directly, not to create. And even I believe he says it here. One of either him or someone else says it. Wednesday Warriors, who support the industry for decades, the crowd for new readers, the changes were meant to attract, didn't translate to a 1-for-1 swap, leaving a decline in customer base. So they swapped it, literally trying to change the fan base. They didn't want the old fan base. They wanted a new fan base, and they didn't get a 1-to-1 swap. So rather than create new characters to add a new fan base and keep the old fan base there, they wanted the other ones gone. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. That's what they said.
Yep.
They created a whisper network that was well documented on Bleeding Fool. Someone infiltrated it, documented it, screenshotted it, reported on it, and now in every Discord now there's 100 whisper networks out there, because people say, oh well, we can just create our own Discord, we can keep everyone in there that we don't want in there out, and we can say what we want, and we can position and posture. And even Mark Miller himself has started to experience this. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah.
So do you think
Cheers, bud.
Do you think during the interview or before the interview, like they took the retailers aside and said, "Don't talk about this," or keep this kind of on the down low?
Probably.
Despite this article, like we're going to make the narrative this way, instead of.
I wonder. I don't know. I don't think Mark Miller is going to be that underhanded.
No,
but I
in
think maybe they all agreed in the green room. Let's not talk about the swapping and stuff, because right now we've got Comicsgate that's agreeing with us. And Mark Miller actually made a comment on Twitter, and I was not able to find it before the show. I was looking for it, that's why I was a little bit late.
I think I know the comment you're talking about.
But he was talking about this group that's been attacking creators, that there's a new book being written.
Yes.
And if anyone has the link for that, please send me that link, because I want to bring up that tweet.
Maybe it wasn't Mark himself, but the
It was Miller.
No, I mean, like, for the not talking about the thing, because retailers wanting to hold on to their customers, the only people buying the big two,
Well, they saw what's happened to O'Leary.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to be the new target.
He's been ostracized as a
Give me a
villain.
second here.
He's been ostracized as a villain because of this, and no one wants to be canceled. Everyone is in fear of being canceled. We live in the most fascist culture that we've ever lived in. They're not throwing you in jail, but they're doing this, and they're taking away your livelihood.
Yeah, it's a prison of the mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You live in fear that you're going to be canceled, and it's starting to get to where you are being thrown in jail. In Europe, the guy was arrested for a Facebook post.
Ireland too.
Ireland, it's happening.
Yeah, that happened in England. Yeah.
It's happening. It's about to happen in Canada. It's getting real close. Hicksville says, Whisper Network is the tip of the iceberg. Wait until they finally expose the trolls paid by the big two. Maybe, I don't know. But what's happened was activists have decided they wanted to take over the industry away from the others. And the others have finally started fighting back. And what they're doing is they're cutting the baby in two.
Yep.
And when you cut the baby in two, what's going to happen is you're going to kill it.
If he dies, he dies.
If it dies, it dies. And I'm not okay with that. Because I love comics. I love comics. And I think that we need to do everything we can to help defend the direct market, because it was the direct market for years that kept comics going and kept comics alive.
Is it me, or is this like this, like similar with Elon Musk, right? With Twitter and stuff. There's this middle ground kind of like, we're not woke, we're not, we're not, but it is and it isn't. You know what I mean? Maybe they see themselves as not this, but and some of it's okay, but like this weird kind of gray area. Yeah, I'm speculating.
These are people who don't want to be bothered with the whole thing, but they might like identify with the woke or identify with a more conservative look, but they just don't want to be bothered. So when you ask them, they take this posture like, "Oh no, I'm not on no one's side." And yeah, dude, that's actually what's ailing this minority of.
I really enjoy this part of the thread here.
Oh,
I thought this was a good back and forth. Space Crafting says, how can this conversation be an accurate description of the problem and not touch on politics, which is the cause of the issue? Because which is the cause of the issue? Valid question. Mark says that listen to the interview. It's very interesting. Swamp Thing, for example, was the most political book DC ever produced, but it was a masterpiece. They said the issue is people are just bored. Fundamentally, it's fascinating. Listen. And Rick M says, you're overlooking one massive thing. Moore is a good writer. The activists that have been hired at the big two, sorry to say, just aren't. When Moore does it, it's engrossing. And when it's done today, it's ham-fisted, preachy, one-sided, and boring. And then he kind of contradicts himself. That's exactly what the guys are saying. They said the big issue is that the best talent, that the big issue is that the best talent is working outside of the big two at the moment. And to fix the direct market slide, they need to figure out a way to lure them back. Hard when the money is a fraction of Hollywood money.
And who pushed them away in the first place? It's just...
Who put them away in the first place?
Yeah.
I mean, you can polish a turd all you want. Doesn't mean it's going to sell.
Yeah.
Right, and let's talk about some of that talent. Like them or love them. I mean, here's some really good talent that is not working in the industry because they are Billy Tucci.
Banished.
Chuck Dixon, banished.
From the mainstream, he's gone, but Bill and Chuck are still incredibly productive.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the
more
mainstream
now than what they ever have.
I know. I'm talking about the mainstream. Okay, let's talk about.
You can't. And again, your verbiage is wrong. That's not the mainstream anymore. The mainstream is manga and Scholastic. Dude.
Well, to them, it's still the mainstream.
What they think and what reality is, we've already figured out, are two completely different things.
Well, let's call it corporate comics to make you happy.
Well,
if we're gonna grasp at straws and
we have to be the change. That's what I'm saying.
Look at the talent that they won't let in that have been banished.
Oh yeah.
EVS is really
They've chased them off. They brought this on themselves.
Look,
the
Ethan,
corporate comics have. Yeah.
Look, Ethan can be a real dick, right?
Sometimes. Yeah.
He's opinionated.
We all can.
He's a bit of a narcissist.
Okay,
but he's incredibly talented.
Pause, but yes, all right.
But he's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
He's one of the better artists that's worked in the industry. He's creative. He's added to these IPs that he's worked on, not to the same scale as, say, definitely Kirby or Ditko or even Rob Liefeld. But some of these guys, I mean, it's a special thing when that happens, right? Not everybody can contribute that much all the time. Like, I love Mike Zeck. How many people are like, well, look how much he contributed, right? No one's mincing words over that. Mike Zeck's a tremendous artist. Always has been, always will be.
Yeah.
It's I work with people that I don't like, that rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Until I just can't anymore. Until working with them is not worth, the art that's being produced is not worth the struggle or the frustration that I deal with. And you have to determine that, right?
Yeah.
But if you want a book to sell, how many copies of Cyberfrog sell versus how many copies of Thor sell?
Yeah. They're not going to acknowledge that ever.
Right?
That's why
And
they
the-
stopped reporting numbers.
And the people and the number of people that don't give a care of the politics of the people that are making the books, like me, I don't
Yep.
care. Honestly, I don't care. I know Alan Moore and I do not agree politically, and I don't care.
Yeah. I don't believe in the
bother me.
witchcraft. Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. If someone, the reason why I stopped buying the books, no, it was not because of her politics. It was because of her piss poor writing.
Mm.
It was just because of bad books. And not only was it bad, she inserted her politics into it, which made it even worse. Now I just got to listen to you preach about politics to me? No. Write a compelling story. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it.
You talking about anybody in particular?
Was it Kelly Sue DeConnick? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's iconic.
Yeah, I can never remember all these people's names.
So I was going to say, I picked up Captain Marvel because of all the controversy that she was having, just to see how bad it was.
Oh, was it bad?
It was lame.
Well, it started out all right, but she comes from, who is it, Mark Ellis, I think it was, wasn't it? She started
yeah.
dialoguing anime books for Mark Ellis, or one of the big guys.
She's
So
not-
her early
yeah.
Captain Marvels are kind of okay, and then they just slide right off a cliff.
Can I address this comment that just came in from Headless Bourgeoisie?
Which
Sure.
one, more is skilled enough?
Yeah, so like politics in storytelling isn't a bad thing. Political intrigue can be interesting, geopolitical wars or whatever, space operas. Politics can be cool as hell. Agenda
It's
sucks.
not. Yeah, agenda. It's not cool, man.
Well, even that, it's the quality of a good writer that's able to hide that agenda in politics in
Exactly.
skilled writing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know,
you can-
that bad writing is it.
Yeah, the thing is that if you notice
what we're
the
getting
agenda,
now,
yeah, the thing is that if you notice the agenda, the writer didn't do his job. You know what I mean? And
Look,
that's
it's
nice.
why Christian media is so bad.
Yep.
Okay, it's because these people they're not good writers. They're not a writer first and then a Christian. And I mean, when it comes to my faith and my devotion, I'm a Christian first above all things.
Yeah.
But I'm a writer. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So I apply myself to good storytelling, and that's what I try to do it. And when people are like, "Oh wow, I can see the allegory, or I can see the Christian thing that you put into that story," and it works, because what was most important was that I tell a compelling story, and my opinion, if it worked in my worldview, if it works in, then it works in. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Right? It's not
Right.
Which is what Moore does.
Yeah.
He can insert his beliefs and his way of thinking into the storytelling in such a compelling way that I'd be like, wow, I understand how he feels about that. I might disagree with it, but I like it. I love V for Vendetta. Love it. Disagree with the politics in it.
Yeah.
Love the
But the thing is
storytelling.
that
It's completely
you
compelling.
feel you are in the viewpoint of the character. I mean, that's the thing. Like you
Right.
interpret the story. This is how he's feeling, and it makes sense.
And I get it, and I'm with him, and I track with him.
Yeah.
I disagree with it.
Yeah.
Right? I still to this day I disagree with not all of it, but just a couple of things. A couple of things are just a little too far. But that's kind of the point of the character. He's
Yeah.
just a little too far, right?
Yep.
And it makes for a great character, and you're pulling for him because you understand that when things go too far one way, it causes people to go too far the other way.
Yeah.
And it's a beautifully told story about a very true reality that you can reflect on, but it's not preachy in any way when it's telling it. It's just beautifully done. And so skillfully done, and you try really, really hard to make that balance as a writer. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Christian media out there that they're trying to preach a message, a sermon, rather than tell a story. Now, I will tell you, I did like the movie The Shift. I went and watched it over the weekend. I highly recommend it. The Shift. I highly recommend it. It was very good. There were moments where it got a little weird for me, right? And I was like, that might be a little too
On the nose?
much. Like it might be, yeah, a little. They were trying so hard to make it the book of Job, right? But then they tied that in. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So that's what this is. So this guy's in a universe where there's no scripture, and all he's got is what he remembers from Sunday school, right, and from church. So he's writing these stories down and trying to tell them. And as he's telling this story of Job, like there's this moment when he realizes that, wow, my life is kind of like this story. And in this moment where he has this big decision to make, I'm not going to spoil it, it causes him to lean into doing the right thing rather than the wrong thing, right? Even though that this devil character, this wonderfully played by the actor, I can't remember his name for some reason, is doing this character, right? And even though he's making compelling argument that serving yourself is not bad, that's not wrong.
Whoa.
It's not wrong for you to be happy. It's not wrong for you to want love. It's not wrong for you to want those things. That's a good thing for you to be happy. So it's not wrong to want to serve yourself.
That's what TikTok says, right?
It's what TikTok says. It's what our culture says, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's so reflective of that and this struggle. And it's, I thought it was well done. It uses a multiverse type thing, but it does it in a slightly different way. But there is kind of a trope to it. So if you don't like multiverse stuff, you probably won't like that. But this dude's looking for his wife, man. He's trying to find his wife, you know, and life's not good for him. It's not easy in his struggle there. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. And
sounds fun. Where did you see this?
I went to the theater to see it.
The theater?
Yeah, I went to the theater. But you can also see it online.
Yeah.
So it's angelstudios.com. Angel.com.
Oh, okay.
Does it. That is, that's a ching if you serve yourself the upside of saving on condoms.
Yeah, unless you like to live on the edge, Russ. If you live on the edge, you don't care.
Mike Barron's first rule of writing: entertain your audience. Right?
Yes.
And you know, there's a stark contradiction though that what I'm seeing in comics and entertainment. You know, you got a guy like
Pick one.
what's his name?
Spin the wheel.
Well, you've got like, you know, right to the
Tim Tyler.
audience, and then you've got right for yourself. Entertain yourself. You know.
Tim Tyler.
And yeah, so you've kind of got these two.
Gotta name names. Yeah.
Got these two ideas, these juxtapositions. But so the thing is, like, am I entertained? Right? But that's the thing. That's the difference between a writer and an activist. An activist does not know how to entertain. They know how to argue. They know how
Some of them don't even know how to do that.
But they know how to
Everything
give
is
a
a fight.
speech. They know how to give a speech.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
Everything is a
part
fight.
of
Everything is fight. Yep.
part of the problem with the activist writing and stuff is they, like you said, they don't know how to tell a story, so they all just copy each other, right? And then you've seen the same story 1,000 frickin' times, and even if it's a really interesting story, and then suddenly they insert the whatever, current day progressive modernist, postmodernist, whatever Marxist crap, it takes you right out of the compelling story, and you just want to turn it off.
Yep.
Because it's boring now.
Mm-hmm.
True.
What I really find funny is that they get mad when you don't like it. Like that's the thing that goes like the did an extra like cuckoo step.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like it.
Because it can't be their fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
It has to be your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. So, I mean, there was a point in time when I was really concerned about,
That's narcissism.
do I have a hard time running between preacher and writer? How do I do that? Right. Even here, I'm like, am I a preacher? Am I a YouTuber? Am I a writer? Am I an artist? You try to find that balance. You don't want to be more one than the other. I mean, because we're like onions, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, ogres are like onions. They've got layers.
Like onions.
Yeah. If you got layers, you got to peel them back one at a time. And honestly, people are that way. We're not so one-dimensional or two-dimensional, and we don't fit into these boxes the way that algorithms would really like for us to fit into.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All they need is a mirror.
all they need is a mirror. And you know, it's the doom and gloom. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why this song is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To each
It's
his
not
own.
because
I
he's-
love it.
It's not because he's a bad musician,
No.
which he kind of is. It might be because he lacks creativity. It's
Yeah.
because he's doing this to try to tell someone a message. This man is not an artist. This man's not an artist. He's not he plays an instrument, but he's not an artist. It's not what he does, right?
He's not even a musician.
He's not even a musician. Right, but so this guy
Yeah.
is using a medium to preach a sermon, because he feels like that's how people will consume it.
That's a good vehicle. Yeah.
But when I look at his message, I listen to it a lot, but not because I like it or because what he's saying means something to me, but because it's mockery.
It's a meme. Yeah.
If you look at what these activists have done with comic books, they've decided to use that as a medium because the people that they want to preach at were the fans that they didn't like.
Yeah.
Or in other words,
If you look at something and there's nothing there, what's the difference of figuring out what it was in the first place?
What's the difference?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're left with is an entire industry of YouTubers and writers and quote unquote journalists.
Somebody's being electrocuted as we speak.
Right. Might be Pedro.
Is it me?
Yeah. So you're left with this whole like group of people that are making bank on YouTube because they're pointing out all the bad things about the comic books, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I almost feel like as part of the culture war, these people that are fighting the culture war by saying, look what they're doing, we're in this. And for a long time, people wanted to ignore their like, we're not in a culture war. That's not really happening. We're not in a culture war. That's not
Solid denial. Yeah.
solid denial. And so now like people are like, well, we're in a culture war. Even Mark Miller says in one of his posts there that people on both sides of the culture war need to come together and shake hands for the betterment of this industry. And I'm like, well, that's not how a war works.
No.
I don't see too many people say, you know what? We really tore up the yard with our fight. We should probably stop and plant some grass. They don't know. That's not how they work.
Nope.
That's not how the war mentality works. And when you start a culture war, you have to finish a culture war.
Yep.
And even when you feel like you've won it and the pendulum has swung in your direction, there's going to be people that pick up arms to try to swing it back in the opposite direction. It's never going to end. It's always going to be a battle. It's like in the Middle East, actual war, because these people just do not get along. And it's what we're seeing is people are leaving American comics to find other things. They still want to be entertained. They're leaving U.S. entertainment for Japanese and manga and anime. I'm going to go down to tonight. That's probably what I'll watch. I'll either watch an old Christmas movie or start. Maybe I'll watch Spirited Away again because you mentioned it and I really like that movie.
It's
really good.
That's a great watch. Yeah.
Watch Nausicaa if you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, dude.
I recommend the series Samurai 7.
Samurai 7, yeah.
That's good. It's based on the
So this
classic.
thread was pretty interesting. The thing that really struck me about this chat was the importance of a 2-year plus run in retail. I know it's obvious, as it means not having to constantly convince customers to try something new. My writer brain leans more miniseries, but as a reader, I prefer a nice big job. There's going to be a lot of pushback here, and I'm going to go ahead and give some of my pushback right away.
Yep.
Well, the problem with that is how do you jump in on a 2-year plus run?
Yep.
They started
Absolutely.
doing miniseries for new readers to try to jump in, right? But he's saying that the problem is that readers have an opportunity to jump in, so they don't stick with it.
Well, everybody's already been chased
It's
off.
it's a strange contradiction.
The big thing is the big two haven't tried to garner any kind of readership, let alone a new readership, in so long, because they're so self-obsessed in what they're doing and the characters that they're putting themselves into. They're not trying to grow any kind of loyalty or an audience whatsoever. They all have brushed that off as the job of the retailer. The retailers are sitting there wondering how they can consistently get, because way back, not even way back when, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it used to be a Wednesday fix. You had to go to the shop. You had to be there on Wednesday. You had to get the new books. Now it's completely different than that. There's nothing like that out there. There is no product out there that is making you go to the shop in order to get that fix all the time consistently. I think that's what the retailers are saying. Marvel and DC need to start chopping out really entertaining, readable product that brings people back into the stores instead of shutting them down and turning them off. Oh, if I want that kind of realism, I'll just turn on the freaking news, or I'll just go to the local protest rally or whatever. They need to entertain people again. That's the big thing.
Yeah, but Marvel
And they're
needs
just
a new,
not doing it.
Marvel needs a new kind of employee that knows what the mission is, because
Well, to quote-
their mission is the message.
To quote Jack Nicholson, this whole town needs an enema.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even
Their
if they go,
mission is the message.
even if they go with like, good stories and then go back to like, large series and get people, some of the comic book readers back, what does that do for the like back in the day? There wasn't video games. There was video games, but there wasn't as many like really entertaining, really accessible things for absolutely everybody in every genre imaginable and every possible thing you could buy or want or have, because we're living in the future now. But like now the market is the impulse buyer, right? You can see that with.
I think you've got a lot of the comic industry to blame, not just for chasing off the readership, but for chasing off the talent. And now you've got video games out there that have storylines that are more complex than what any of these comic companies are kicking out, and more entertaining.
And sometimes, in some cases, art as well, right? Some are beautiful
That's true,
masterpieces of like immersive experiences, right? And like people are going to play. The video game industry is one of the largest industries in the world, if not one of the largest.
But I don't know, like the whole like video game, like before video games, there was the outside. Kids used to play outside. Comics were competing with baseball, football, and just playing pretend in the park.
But a lot of that talent that would have been in comics has moved on. I think that's been the case the last 20, 30 years. Your Josh Whedons, your Kevin Smiths and all that would have all been comic writers and would have stayed comic writers if they were given that opportunity and given the openness, instead of it being such an enclosed, nepotistic society up there at the big two. And that's wrong verbiage. I'm sorry. At the corporate comic level. If all of this has been a great talent drain,
Right.
and it's all gone in other directions, and then they sit around wondering how come they're not selling the books that they used to sell.
So
all the talent is gone.
I want to make this point. The long 2-year runs, let's clarify. So if it is 2 years of not rebooting, then yes. Have like little story arcs within this larger arc. It's the rebooting that's killing us.
Yeah.
As a fan, that's what's killing me.
And another thing to point out, take Watchmen as a prime example. 12 issues. Even though the last couple of issues blew their deadlines in that 12 issues, when Watchmen come out, it didn't sell that well.
No.
You didn't move that many copies of Watchmen until after the fact, until people had some time to sit back like a fine wine, take a look at it, and realize the value and the quality of the book. I mean, a large majority of people. Some folks picked it up and knew what it was right off the bat and loved it. Other people, it took them a while for it to grow on them. There's no way the retailers are wrong thinking that it's going to take a 2-year story arc in order to bring people back in. It's going to take a consistent level of quality, a high level of quality with enough entertainment value, just like manga, to pull people out of their current lives, entertain the hell out of them, and make them want to come back and be entertained again. That's what's going to bring people back into the retail shops.
True. Hojo is also
Get off
saying
that
in our
soapbox.
chat right now, is saying, then how did people get interested in X-Men that hadn't read it before or in a while? They had that previously on area and self-contained issues that built on a storyline of 6-issue arcs. Yeah, now that I agree with. That's the same model I'm using for hybrids.
You want to know what really brought X-Men up? What really brought X-Men up was the fact that they had reprinted the older X-Men to start and had created demand for mutants and mutant kind. And then when they brought out Giant Size X-Men #1, it was quality work by quality people doing quality things with characters that they didn't go back on. The whole part of Giant Size 1 was that mystery of Xavier running around picking up this whole team of mutants some of which you had never seen before, some of which you had seen as villains, and bringing them together into a team and then molding them. And then on top of that, you ended up getting talent like Claremont and Byrne and Austin on there running consistent for 4 or 5 years, doing phenomenal work. Just real keystone work. Teen Titans 1, the new Teen Titans, the same thing by Wolfman and Perez. Huge book, great entertainment value, big property. And the reason it became that way, it wasn't because of the characters that were there. It was the talent that was working on those characters.
At Comics and Cleve says, this is one thing manga does over American comics. Usually the same team completes a book. When I think of comics and great runs, personally, I always think of Chris Claremont's 16-year stint on X-Men.
Yep.
He wrote from 1975 to 1991, and how there is consistency within his writing. That's exactly the point that you're making.
And for some people, even that was about 8 years too long. But he was consistent. He generated a following. Absolutely.
Wolverine,
Sorry.
at Wolverine
Sorry to
is
step
making
on
a
you
point
there.
here. He says, that's okay. Because I think it's important also to keep in mind that it's not just a matter of getting top talent on the books. Even with the best talent ever, there's still massive lost faith and lack of trust in these companies and those in charge that needs big work and big changes to overcome.
Yep. But every Marvel and DC right now have an uphill fight specifically because of that. And it's not because people are pissed at the lack of talent. It's that fact that people have stopped caring.
Yeah.
People are walking away.
That's
The
even
apathy
worse.
in this industry is incredible at the moment. People just don't. Oh, comics, American comics. I'd rather pick up this manga.
So when Scout first launched, I bought everything they put out because I was thinking, wow, maybe I could write something or draw something that would get on this company one day. Let's see what they're doing. So I picked up books and I read them, and some of them were good, some of them were okay. I didn't read anything that was bad. It was all pretty decent. And then I started working. I was going to start writing for this website called The Splintering. And they sent me a number of books to review. Scout had set up with them that, hey, we will give you free copies, PDFs of these books, if you have your writers review these books for us, right? And I messaged the guy back and I said, I can't. I don't want to publish my review of this book because I didn't like it. didn't like it a lot. And I'm afraid that if I give an honest critique of this book, it might hurt my opportunities to get published with them later.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was like 2019, 2020, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I got, and I love Brian Silverbacks. He is a nice guy, really good artist, great cover artist. But I got Loggerhead, and it needed a lot of editorial work. There was a lot that made me think that why did some of this stuff get missed? You know?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't help him make a better book. Not at all. They didn't help make a better book at all. And he could have made a better book. I mean, the man's got talent. He's got creative ideas. It was an opportunity for them to help give some guidance there to one of their guys. And they could have had a nice property. A new Ninja Turtles, if you will. But they didn't. They didn't. Rather, they just cut him loose. They didn't give him any direction. They cut him loose. I didn't care about that. I think they might have done another issue. But after that, we saw no more Loggerhead. And, you know, and so I like, well, it started to turn me off. And I picked up one more book. And I was like, no, this is not good. The next book I got was bad. Like real bad. So I was done. They lost me because of their quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped buying anything they put out because I was not willing to take a chance on it. I wasn't willing to lose money on a book from a company with a track record of crap books for me. When you get 3, 4, 5 bad books in a row, you're like, no, this isn't good. So they didn't have a reputation of quality for me. And then it turns out that they're leftists that care more about politics than they do good writing. And then that was like the last straw for me. It's like, well, of course they are. Of course they care more about politics than good writing. Because they will say no to a project if the letterer voted wrong. Or if the letterer worked on a book that happened to be Comicsgate. That book won't get published through us. Well, that's stupid.
Anyway, never mind. Yeah. Any company that tells you that you have to adhere to a list of people you can and cannot use or associate with, that's a hate group.
So if I can't vote for Trump, but I like Trump, I won't be able to work at the studio.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or if you've said one positive thing about Trump in your social media, you're done. You're done.
It's a weird way to measure talent.
Yeah. It's a way to measure talent. Most of these companies are anymore. It's crazy.
Sounds like all of Canada. Jesus.
Well, you can see where the hate is.
I love Space Crafting's sarcasm. Yeah, that's it. Big long runs, no other issue to tackle. No other reasons why people who used to buy all the comics now buy none. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is key. We're seeing that there. It's like a subscription. After the first month, as long as you're occasionally getting some value out of it, you don't reconsider the purchase each time and accept it as a regular expense. But when you're asked to reconsider every 4 to 18 months, you eventually decide no.
Yep.
It's true. A big old school 50 issued run of the Ambassadors with top talent artists would be a great thing to behold, someone says. At @topdrawer_art says. Late to the game 8 says, totally agree, but it makes no difference if the writer of these runs simply don't want to write the characters we love and instead insert themselves and their politics into them and nothing of substance. Bring back good storytelling, art, and action, and they will come.
They will come eventually.
Maybe they will come back. Maybe
it's going to take a while to regenerate the interest.
We have to
trust that they've didn't.
We have to convince them to come back.
Yep.
We have to convince them to come back. We're seeing people come back right now.
Before we move on to this, can I quickly address, because I've actually been thinking about this a little bit for a second here, because we had a minute. Russ's comment here on Whiskey's armor doesn't stack up against manga. I think in part But if you're talking about retail stores versus direct to customer market, right? The retail store has to stay open. They also have to sell merchandise to impulse buyers. People that like Chainsaw Man or whatever, they come in, they'll buy a t-shirt, right? I mean, manga mostly thrives on direct market, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't agree with that because manga really has taken a good, I would say, 20, 30 years to really catch on. And the way that they did that is they started appealing into markets that the American comics weren't hitting. Fruit Baskets, Ranma One Half, those old school manga titles caught on with the kids, specifically the young female readers, and have Naruto and has taken off from there. And now they've grown up as these readers have grown up. The manga titles that they're getting into are more intellectual, more hardcore, shall we say. So now you've got Berserker and Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, that kind of work coming out. That these people that are reading comics, a lot of, or manga, I should say, a lot of them readers have been there for 10, 20 years. They read them when they were kids. I know I used to teach class after school, cartooning class. And the first thing, all of the girls that were coming in were all writing, drawing, and absorbing manga.
Yeah,
That's all American comics.
Where'd they buy the books?
Nothing
then?
Elf Lord or Troll, or not Troll Lords, Elf Quest, Sandman. They had no use for, but Ranma and Fruit Baskets, they were big fans of.
And
those people,
Sakura Card Captors was also a big
Yep.
one.
those people grew up, and the manga is so wide and expanding in their genres. They found manga to grow up with them, and they have become really big hardcore fans. That's how now you walk into Barnes and Noble, you see an entire aisle of manga, both sides of the shelf, just jammed with stuff that they're moving. And you see Marvel and DC down to maybe one bookcase apiece. If you're
Russ
lucky.
is absolutely correct here. Manga would not have gotten a foothold if mainstream comics stayed the course.
Yes.
I want to go back to B.A. Turner's
That, and they
comment here.
needed to diversify really bad. Anyway.
I want to make a comment here. That's not an accurate statement, Turner. It's not, because Mike Barron is working on Rippaverse, and so is Chuck Dixon. Both of them are CG writers, but neither one of them have been asked to renounce CG. Right? Yeah. That was all on Kanan White. Kanan White did that a year ago.
Is that the first time he's done that? Yeah.
Yeah. And he did that for his career. But to be fair, there's a lot of people out there that would like to renounce CG from time to time.
It's a bad label. It's a millstone.
It is.
Label
It
around
hurts.
people's necks. It needs to. It needs to go away. But that's a whole nother. That's my opinion.
What people thought CG was. There's a lot of people that got into that whole Comicsgate thing.
It's
thinking
bad
that it was
branding
this
right from the
network.
start.
They thought it was this network that was going to
shit
support
branding.
them, right?
Yep.
And then grab an oar. And then when they got in there, they realized that that doesn't mean what they thought it meant. That it was that there is not the reciprocity that they expected, that they were kind of informed that there was, but that creators still had to pay their dues. Like they didn't think that was going to be something that was going to happen, that just any run-of-the-mill book was going to get promoted and just anybody was going to get a seat at this table with some pros without any kind of vetting or anything like that. And some people did. And it proved to be disastrous for some people out there. And it just became a mess. And then there were people that that have hijacked what it is. And it's like there's always people. It's like the term woke, what it started out to be was just people that were aware. They were awakened to social justice issues, and they were an advocate. And that's what that meant. And now it's something completely different. People have hijacked it. Black Lives Matter started out as a decent cry from a black community saying, look, our lives do matter too. Stop ignoring the violence and the discrimination that's going on. And that was fine. And it was good. And it was something to embrace until it became a Marxist organization that was really all about preaching one narrative and one narrative only.
And enriching themselves.
And enriching themselves. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I like
Anything
to say,
good gets hijacked.
You know, I like to say that if you took all the politics away, or I've been thinking about this a lot recently, if you took all the politics and all the ideologues away and stuff like that, there would still be you know, same issues that we have now with like exclusivity and whatever else. You'd have the Cordelia chases from Buffy the Vampire Slayer being like, you're not in the in crowd, you know, you're not in the whisper networks, and all that stuff would still exist without the ideologues. It doesn't require them to exist or to be there, right?
Yeah,
you still have it. You still have.
Yeah, I think that's a bold statement considering he's only solicited for 3 products. And I've been watching the stuff that Eric July posts. I haven't heard him say anything negative about CG.
Yeah. No,
it's all been the little followers that are chasing tail and trying to cause controversy. The Beavis and Buttheads are out there trying to pit one side against the other. But CG is a bad brand and needs to go away because everybody out there, both Ripaverse and the supposed CG people, are all just out to make good comics. Their goals are very similar.
Well, they are, and the Iron Age is there, and I think one of the other things that you're going to notice is even if CG went away tomorrow, right? That there's no more Comicsgate, and Ethan started using a different title, whatever, wherever those people end up, Iron Age is going to get the new title. They're always going to make someone the boogeyman, and the actors have worked so hard to make Comicsgate the boogeyman that it's almost impossible to reprogram people to think of it as anything differently. And there's so much infighting that takes place all the time that's almost what it's known for. Like, it's known for infighting in late books. You know, I think that's what, even if you can prove that the majority of the books come out on time, are delivered, right? Even if you can prove that, the narratives have been so heavy the other way, and that it becomes about the infighting. And then even within this group of people that say they're CG, like, even, we're probably going to get heat for even talking about this today. Oh, well, Luke and
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Stop trying to take stuff out of context.
Yeah, it's Riververse is attempting to make great comics, and he does need Mike Baron. He does need Chuck Dixon.
He doesn't like Ethan. Somewhere.
Him and Ethan are beefing. Okay, but why does that have to be my fault? Why does that have to be my problem?
Why does all of the pigeonholes have to happen?
Yeah. Why do I have to pick between supporting Ripa or supporting Ethan? I don't think I should have to.
Yep.
And I think that's stupid to try to ask me to do that. Right?
Yep.
There was this whole thing, and I mean, I'm a third party. I'm not even a part of it. I'm nothing. There was a beef between Ethan and Dojo-kun. Someone tried to make me a part of it. It's not my battle. I don't care. Neither one of those people come to me and ask me for my advice on their business. And I don't go to them and ask them for advice on my business. We want to mutually help each other if we can. Because we're trying to make comic books. We're trying to make a living doing what we love doing. I don't support anyone. I will buy and share good comics and art. Yep. Amen. That's what it's about. And people want to get into this. You've got to pick a side, and that's what people get exhausted by. I can't take like 2 or 3 days off Twitter because I'm in a zone of work, and then come back and share someone's work and get in trouble for it. I literally had someone say, "How dare you share his book? Don't you know we're beefing? I thought we were friends." Oh, guess what? Don't bring me into your drama block. I'm done.
Stop with the community crap and get on with the industry.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Their book looked cool.
Those HOAs are done.
I thought their book looked good, so I shared it. I thought it was neat. If you produce a book that I think looks cool, I'm going to share that too.
Yep.
We're all about these labels, and the labels is what's killing comic books. We're cutting the baby in half. And what we're doing is we're sending fans away from comics. People are trying to do manga now. They're going to video games. The arts, the talent is leaving the industry.
Has been for years.
Has been for years. But the fans are leaving. We're seeing it across the board. More and more people are leaving comic books and going to manga and anime. They're going to alternative medias. There are fans. There was this whole thing with Iconic, and I know there's backroom talk and stuff like that. But there's people like, well, if you like Iconic comics, you can't like this. Or you can't like this and like, why can't I like both?
It's like entertainment. That's all.
Yeah, why
what
can't
the
I do
value is there. If it took you out of your headspace and made you forget your troubles for a while, that's entertainment. Good entertainment always needs to be promoted.
I had someone message me and ask me my thoughts about Ben Dunn's comic book that did not get approved on Kickstarter because they over-sexualized a 16-year-old girl character in it. And I'm like, why should I have an opinion? Why should I have an opinion on a lot of stuff, but why does it matter? It didn't involve my platform. It didn't involve me. I am not published now, nor will I ever be published by Antarctic Press. I'm not. It's not going to happen.
I was.
You were, but I'm with Arrow Comics. That's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
But I was published by Antarctic. The thing with Tomorrow Girl fiasco, I must say, isn't the fault of Ben. It's the fault of Kickstarter and who Kickstarter listens to and whose tails they kiss. That's where the problem was. It wasn't Ben's fault.
The skirt is short. They shouldn't have
The
put a
skirt
butt
is
hump.
short, so Supergirls.
Yeah, they shouldn't have put a butt bump on
And
there.
believe me, there's a lot worse comics out there, and I can tell you three of
So
them
many.
right off the top of my head that
So
Kickstarter
many.
still has on their platform that they're running campaigns for. The reason is they got their ear bent by a particular set of people who weren't too crazy about Antarctic, and that again goes back to this freaking CG millstone and Zach and all of this stuff, and they're just waiting. And there's people out there that are just looking to cause trouble and drama that just need to get out of this business. They need to go away and just let people do business. That's why we've got Fund My Comic to come back to this.
Back to my point with the Ben thing. Back to my point with that.
Yeah.
So the one image was, but there was another image that was really, really just, it was bad. I was like, no, that's wildly inappropriate. But my point was that I was trying to make, and even to this person, because they said, well, I'll never buy another Antarctic Press book again. I cannot support Ben or that company. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, that's your choice. But if some other publisher that happens to be published, that's their one opportunity to get their book out there. It goes out on Antarctic Press, and I think it's a good-looking book, then I might buy it. I haven't bought an Antarctic Press book in years because I haven't liked any of the things they've put out. Mm-hmm. But if I do see something that I like, I'm not going to judge that creator because they had an opportunity. They are not been done. They may have they may not even think like Ben. They may have no value. They may share no values with Ben whatsoever.
More than childish.
It's just the constant, you must pick a side. You must stand on. Yes, there are certain things, certain values that you do need to stand up against. And I think when you draw that line in the sand, that's fine. Do that. Mm-hmm. But don't expect everyone else to have the same value that you do and draw the same line that you do. And just because they don't doesn't mean they're your enemy. I'm going to draw a lot harder lines than most of the people on this panel and most of the people in the chat. The reason why is because I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian and I'm a man of God and I'm a man of faith. One of these days I may find myself back in the pulpit. And so I'm still going to live a life that is going to reflect my faith and my values, even if I may tell a couple people to F off in the process. Because I'm human and I'm weak at moments, right? But I'm going to draw some hard lines, and I don't expect Randy or Whiskey or Pedro or anyone else that comes on this panel to draw the same hard line that I do. I don't expect that. Because that's mine. That's my line. That's my value. But if Randy asked me to step outside of my values and I say no, he either has to respect that or I guess leave it, right?
Yeah.
Them's the
Well,
bits,
I can
right?
tell you something from my perspective. I was offered a book featuring a young girl when I was doing Arrow Comics back in the early 2000s that I turned down because it ooked me out. And I said, this isn't comics as much as it is kiddie porn. I'm not gonna pursue this book. The book was very professional. It was very well done. It was done by people that have been in the market for years. And if I had run that as an Arrow Comics, it would have definitely upped my visibility. But in my opinion, it would have upped Arrow's visibility in exactly the wrong way that I
Right.
wanted that company to go. So I turned it down. Hang on a second. That exact same book is offered on Kickstarter right now.
Right.
20 years later. I gotta step out for a minute.
All right. Let's get to some of these comments here because I know I've missed a lot. I've set some people ablaze. So let's get through some of these here.
Just torching them with the
I am-
flamethrower.
Shit stirs. We're hearing that one. We've got Flip City here. Really great points, Luke. Everything gets infiltrated and ruined once it gets big enough. And I did want to talk about that because, yes. And that's one of the concerns with my comic, that at some point we're going to get so much bigger than me that it's going to get infiltrated. And so people are concerned about that. And it's something we're working into our bylaws. The CG versus Rippaverse thing is embarrassing and counterproductive. I wish people would work it out. This is a bad time for division. Too much progress made to squander it now over petty infighting. And I agree very much, Headless. And can we just say that both sides are being pretty crappy? I would like to say that I think that there are no winners, and I think that there are plenty of losers. And I think that whenever we try to make this a fight, you have some unintended consequences and casualties. And I think we're seeing that. Flip City says really great points, Luke. Oh, you already said that one.
Everything gets
RJ says Triggered had legitimate value in psychology before SJWs claimed to have PTSD from opinions they didn't agree with. Amen. I agree with you there. You can't have PTSD from an opinion. Words are not violence.
Correct.
We need
to watch the verbiage. They're not SJWs, they're cancel pigs.
Cancel pigs. In all fairness, nepotism was rife 30 years ago without ideology. Yeah, it didn't have ideology. It had everything to do with, who's your buddy.
It's not who you know. Up there trying to get a job. We had that old slogan for years in the alternative market when we were talking about breaking into Marvel and DC. It's not who you know, it's who you, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, now I don't think the shots he's taken is at CG. I think the shots he's taken is at EVS.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Difference of opinion.
Because EVS has a platform of crowdfunding and a history of late books. He's taking shots at EVS. They're low-key battling one another. It's clear.
There's a little ego in there.
Yeah. Rippa is against the whole crowdfunding thing and takes shot at CG. He wants fast books to become better than the content and quality of a book. You know what? I'm not going to say he's entirely wrong. I think books on time. I think that's why so many people still love corporate comics, because they get a book every month instead of a book every year or 4 years, right?
But so really, it's a book that you want to have. That's the thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We need to try to find a way to make a book that they want to have, that's worth having, but also comes out more consistently. That's what is so difficult about independence, because we can't afford this massive team to make it happen. If we were releasing Terminal Kill as individual issues as they were finished, if we were doing that as they were finished, we would have put out, in this year, we would have put out 6 books. So we would have 6 books That's something. That's something. And I think the book is pretty quality. But when it releases next year, I think it's going to be good. It's possible, but I'll be honest with you, Tony is bankrolling the whole thing. And he's paying a lot of money to have a very fast production time. It's just how it works. So many newer creators getting mad when bigger guys don't buy their books and they buy others at their financial level. Yeah, I get it. But if you're newer and your book isn't good, let's just take that out of it. Your book could be good, but if your book doesn't appeal to them, they shouldn't be obligated to buy your book just because they have more money than you. No one should be obligated to buy your book. It's up to you to sell it.
Yep.
Just how it is, guys. So just drop the name so that you don't risk losing sales, etc. This is why we're losing the culture war. We are not losing. We've lost the culture war. Culture war has been lost a long time ago. We're now just trying to take back some ground. That's all it is. Because Rippa doesn't support any comics and doesn't support and promote anyone but himself. That I 100% agree with because it's ego.
Yep.
But the same could be said about a lot of other creators. I love Graham Nolan. But does Graham Nolan promote or buy anyone's comic book Graham Nolan's? I don't think so. But I shouldn't expect him to promote my book. He's running a business. Does Lopresti promote anyone else but himself? Sometimes. Sometimes, but not often. Right? I promote other people because of Fund My Comic. I try not to support anything that's on the other two sites because I know that more money's going into the corporate pocket than into the creator's pocket. I don't like that. So it happens. I don't support anyone. I will buy and share good comics. Cordelia Chase was a fox, but still Xander and a nerd snagged her. I wish Rippa all the best. Still doesn't mean he can't improve. True, he can improve.
Absolutely.
Things can get better. He can improve, but he still is only in it for himself. And I would venture to say that most of the people that are in the chat right now, you guys are in it for yourself. Randy, who are you in this for?
Well, that's anyway.
Yeah. Luke, who are you in this for?
I want everybody to buy my book. Absolutely.
Yeah. For me, primarily it's me.
But I love this art form. I'm not afraid to point out that there's some great stuff out there.
Yeah. Being in it for myself is why Fund My Comic even exists.
Yeah.
And it was other people saying, you know what, you should share that. Okay, yeah, I'll share it. Because I want to help other people, but I'm not going to help other people at the expense of my own family. That's not going to happen, right?
Hey, Pedro, welcome back.
That's not going to happen.
Gotta eat.
And I think everyone here is the same way. And I don't fault anyone for wanting to take care of their family, right?
Yep.
And wanting to make sure that they're making wise decisions for their business.
And we can debate individuals all day and their campaigns, their likes or dislikes, or what they do or don't do. It's just a matter of how are you going to help the industry?
Right.
You know, if
And
you
I do
don't help
believe
the
that
industry, you ain't helping yourself.
I believe that in order to help myself, I need to help other people, because I think that we are stronger together. I think that if there are more quality books in one place, and if all those books are selling well, it will create a firestorm of sorts. Mm-hmm. So that's why I help other people, because I think that it's good for us. Total. I think it's good for everybody to do this, right? I think if we have that mentality.
Yeah, but there's another thing. Helping other people is also telling them, dude, this is not good enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes people come in with a product that it's not up to par, and you're trying to help them, but they take it as an insult. So
yeah.
That's the thing. It's not about being heroes. Like, I think Elon Musk said it best. It's better to be good than to appear to be good while doing evil.
Yes.
So in that spirit of being nice, we just do a disservice to people who might be ready in a couple of months if they apply themselves. But how would they apply themselves if they don't know they need to?
Yeah,
Yep.
someone's got to tell him. Someone's got to be an
Yeah.
editor. It's
Yeah.
like with the Silverbacks book. I mean, it could have been really good if the editor would have applied themselves to
Yeah.
that project instead of just saying, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Ripa has room to improve, sure, but I've read way worse debut works from new created. Yeah, I agree. Welcome, Oni64. It's good to have you here. Hojo says, running a business makes you look out for yourself and your business, and that's true.
That's very
because
true.
I look out for Fund My Comic and the people that I have there, which means I also look out for all the people on Fund My Comic, which means I curate the thing. Someone messaged me the other day and said, hey, this person is trying to solicit promotion stuff for Fund My Comic. They're saying that they can, one of those grifters that if you pay me this much, we can guarantee you this much in funding. They can't do that. And so I said, please share the message with me and tell me who did it. And so I can go block the user. Like, I have blocked those spam bots and those grifters from being able to message people on the platform, because I don't want you, all of you out there, to be inundated by messages from people like that. Every time you launch something on Indiegogo or Kickstarter,
Kickstarter
you
is
get those
worse.
Kickstarter's the worst. They don't curate that at all. I just don't think that's a good idea. Comics are ubiquitous. Slicing it up is eating the corpse before you've cooked it. Oh, I agree. That is such a good point.
Ill, but true.
Good point.
I like to think of comics or comic business kind of like a paramedic. You're not going to go like you're going to do your job because you like helping people, right? That's what you signed up for, but you're not going to get shot in the process.
Hopefully.
Right? Hopefully,
Not
you don't wanna
intentionally,
get
yeah.
shot. You're not going to go in if it's dangerous, right? So your business is kind of like a paramedic.
Yeah. Heads will stay in the sand. Sadly, truth always eventually surfaces. It does.
That
true. Is true. I would say this, though. As bad as the activists are on the left with the comics they write, I feel like the activists on the right are just as bad.
Yeah.
That is still bad storytelling. It's still
It's
bad
the
writing.
same problem. It's the
There's
same problem. The
bad
message
in
is
both
what's
directions.
important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the message is what's important, the story takes a back seat, and that's what the comic book suffers.
I fought in actual wars. Culture wars bore me.
Yep.
I get that. That photo from Bryn was effing creepy. The fact that it was created, that he created it, is the problem. Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, dude.
That says a lot about who is behind the face and the name.
Yeah. I mean, once you've been shot at, like getting like jabs on Twitter is very funny to me. Like, I don't know, maybe because I live in Latin America, I lived through a time in history where bombs were commonplace.
Right.
Like in the 90s in Colombia, like, dude, like having somebody telling me up in Twitter just makes me chuckle. It's like, okay.
Look, I've been in ministry for 25 years, and I'll tell you, we've been fighting a culture war for a very long time.
Yeah.
We've been fighting it. We're fighting one. We fought one. Have been fighting it in the church too. So there's a theology that about 1820 or something like that started, where this young girl, she was 18. They were in Glasgow, and she had a history of being in and out with mental issues and emotional issues. And they were in a service, and she had some vision of the end times that was contrary to what Scripture actually said. But there was a preacher that was there that heard her, and it compelled him very much, and he really got wrapped up in it. And so he started preaching this theology that just didn't exist, right? And so he came to America and started churches over here preaching this theology that had no biblical validity at all, no foundation whatsoever. And actually ran across this guy named D.L. Moody, right? And so Moody took up this theology and started preaching that, and then he created the Moody Institute here, which is the Southern Baptist Institute. Yeah. And they preach this theology, and so now this false theology of dispensationalism, of some rapture end times is false. It's not in Scripture. It's not what anyone up to about 400 years ago would have even taught. The disciples didn't believe this. They didn't teach this. This is a new theology that was created and has been adopted by many people. And they put it in movies and books and plays. Heaven's Gates, Hell's Flames, Left Behind series, those kind of things. Yeah. And so people started thinking that this was gospel because that's what they heard, and so many people told them that's what the truth. And us all millennialists have been fighting this for generations that no, that's not true. That's not biblically accurate. That's not what the Bible says. We've been fighting that. Now we've got a progressive movement that, that we've been fighting this, that started with Rob Bell. Didn't really start with him, but really got a foothold when he said that when he wrote this book, Love Wins, that pretty much says that even if you go to hell, God's going to find a way to get you out of it. Right? Which is not a biblical, it's not in the Bible. Like that's your opinion. It's not based on any kind of biblical foundation.
And that sounds like a carte blanche to misbehave. Like do what you want, you'll get forgiven.
It pretty much is. Yeah. And so we've been fighting those elements coming into the church for decades. I mean, for 2.5 decades, I've dealt with it. Centuries.
You go back to the postmodernists, way back to the French socialists. Before then, the
nihilist.
It goes back pretty far, man.
Some have a reputation before you ever see their stuff. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, none of this is new.
If I can back a project on IGG Kickstarter or FMC, I'm going FMC every time. Thank you, Headless, for that. We appreciate that. And to be honest with you, that money that comes in that the platform takes, it goes to pushing back in and helping the platform build. Okay, that's not where I make my money. It's not where any of us make money right now yet, except for the creators. The creators, speaking of making money, I want to show you how much the creators have been making.
Yeah.
I want you to see a number here.
The money parade. Yeah.
Look at that.
Hey, now.
Funding sought $553,000. Funding sought running. So these are the campaigns that are in editing total.
Dude, congrats.
Right now running that are live.
Awesome.
87. 78. 78 campaigns running right now. $111,000 is what they're seeking. What we captured so far is $73,700. What's running right now? So these are campaigns that are active and have money. So this is closed campaigns. This is absolutely running. This is running right now. $157,000. That's been raised right now in active campaigns. Total captured. Raised captured. These are all the campaigns that are done. $330,000 since March. Since March.
Not even a year.
Not even a year.
On a new platform.
On a new platform.
Wet behind the ears. Still getting started.
We're still learning.
Running, still rolling down the hill.
We're still learning, yeah.
Yep.
So there's money. There's money out there. People are doing it. And BA, great segue.
Sorry.
Great segue. I know one you can buy on FMC then. He's got Vigilante's Creed up there. Done. The artwork is tremendous. Done by Barton. It's a Corey or Clayton that did that one. Corey Barton. I think Clayton is the colorist. You don't have to take a side, but don't be blind and be afraid of calling out popular side. That is being shitty.
Absolutely.
True. And like I said, let's be honest. Both sides are being pretty crappy. And that's what I told Dojo. I said, look, I think that little beef between you and Invest, I think it was pretty petty on both sides. And I said, I think you're mad because he's got a platform. And I said, let's be honest. You don't have a lot to your history. And he had you in the back rooms with him. You had a seat at the table. And then you did what you did, and you don't think that maybe he's human and it hurt? That he was giving you a shot and you backstabbed him? Think about that for a second, right? We forget that at the end of the day, we are human beings here. We have feelings. We're not just we're not avatars. Friggin' people with souls and hearts, And it sucks sometimes. I could not imagine everyone like past Master Dan.
Yeah.
I don't expect anyone to be like buttered sausage.
Nope.
Or pickled Brussels sprouts. Buttered sausage gave me PTSD. Tell that to the
Let's
lady.
talk about buttered sausage.
Let's not talk about butter
We got
sausage.
Dave Brink.
Hey,
Welcome, Dave. It's good to have you here. I write and draw what I want for me. I produce it in the way I want. No time for the infighting. Lets everyone be right. I just get on with it. And I think we need more of that. Just getting on with
absolutely
it.
do. Yep.
I think we need more of that. Headless says that his book is definitely on there. I'll be putting a few things in FMC next year. Looking forward to that.
Same
Glenn
here.
is
More Arrow coming.
I think Glenn needs more eyes on his stuff, and I think it's so hard to get out there and promote and to be known.
Yep.
I know how much time I spend at it, and it's not enough. It's exhausting.
I don't spend enough time doing it.
It's easy to put out quick 3D asset-filled books when you're rich. July is trying to set a standard that only rich folks or large publishers can meet. He is trying to hoard customers. Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I know 3D assets take quite a while to make. Like,
Yeah, dude. Or maybe you can learn CGI and do your own 3D app.
Right, yeah.
not an easy task.
That's a whole nother discussion, BA. For
They
another
use
time.
they use
Probably
3D
off
assets
camera.
and manga. They do that,
Yeah.
you know. Hoard customers. Everyone's trying to do that. I think everyone's trying to do that. How many times you say, "Hey, will you send out a message to your mailing list?"
Yeah, and the whole thing about
For
hoarding
me.
customers, like I
Look, yeah.
question, like, is Ripa keeping the customers in his cupboard?
I don't think
No,
so. I think they're
people,
free to buy
people
whatever
are
they
out
want.
there, and people will buy what they want. They know Ripa, and they buy their stuff.
Maybe
Or
he
it's on us
means-
to get known.
Maybe
I
he
don't
means
think-
not promote. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's on us to get known. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To promote ourselves and get to a Ripa level where we can sell $2 million
Ripa's
in sales.
success. Ripa's
Yeah,
success
exactly.
does not mean my failure.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. You know, it doesn't have to be.
Compare that.
I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think it'd be great. Possibly the best thing we see on FMC is the person who runs it. We see the face. Well, I appreciate that. I wish I were better looking.
Look at this screen that's been sitting up here for the last 10, 15 minutes. You're not going to see that on the other platforms. You don't see somebody pulling these figures up and going, look at what we've done.
Yeah. From the mouth of
They wanna
Indiegogo,
tell
like,
you-
don't see that.
They want to tell you numbers that, you just have to trust them on.
Right. Trust me. And I'll be honest, our traffic has slowed this time of year.
Well, it's
It
also
has.
the
Really,
economy,
really.
too. Bidenomics is
Yeah.
having an effect on
Bidenomics,
everybody,
yeah.
whether
Yeah,
they
and
want to admit it or not.
But if you look at 3
All
months
over the
ago,
world.
our traffic 3 months ago, we had Rini. Rini launched 3 months ago, a little over 90 days ago. So if you look at that, the traffic was huge that day.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if we have another huge launch at the beginning of the year next year, it's going to go up massive because it ebbs and it flows. You can't take a month by month or a week by week view of this thing. You have to take an
It's a
overall
people
view of
thing.
it.
Yeah.
And right now, even at our lowest traffic, it's still 20% higher than when we first launched the website. Bing. Here we go.
And growing.
Yes. We've been trained to expect comic once a month. It's not necessarily the norm. True, and I don't think that some buyers out there, some readers necessarily need a book every month.
There's been a lot of blinders and Pavlovian responses that have been built up over the last 30, 40 years that were slowly eroding away. Quality takes time. Some people take longer than others. It's just that simple. Of course, some people are sidetracked by doing too many toys and apparel and posters and who knows what else too,
Yeah.
instead of actually doing books. But that's all lessons that they'll either learn or pay for, one way or the
Yeah,
other.
but
way
that's
it
the
is.
thing. Like, we have to see promotion as work, too.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, for example, you see Ripa. Ripa is like, I can have the book right away because he has 10 years of building up a channel. He already has the audience. Somebody like Ethan, like, he's making sales because he's offering so much when you buy a book. You get
He
like
is, yeah.
you get like a free figurine, you get a lot of like chat fees, and that takes time.
Yeah.
And to be in the zeitgeist, like, yeah, like I don't blame, like, oh, he's really late, maybe, but the quality of his book is top notch.
I'll tell you,
buy a book,
I
you get so much more.
I
And
sure
that's the
wasn't
thing, like, what do you wanna
expecting.
do?
I sure wasn't expecting the box that I got from buying
Yeah.
one book.
Exactly.
Right.
I got a box with like 4 books and a toy, and I'm like, wow.
So I guess Graham does
That's
have
crazy.
up and coming creators on his YouTube from time to time.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. That's great. But even if he didn't, it wouldn't affect how I like his material.
Exactly. That's not
No.
his job. His job is to make great books for me to want them.
It's nice
But
that
I think though, if we, and sorry to jump
you're fine.
on over your point, I think if we have a passion for this industry, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about the good stuff, and talking down, talking bad about it doesn't help anybody. Might help your numbers temporarily on your YouTube channel, but it doesn't help this industry to grow or to get better and bigger. It just convinces anybody who's watching and listening from the fringes that all you guys are a bunch of bitter Beavis and Buttheads and you need to go into your own corner. I'm going to go play this video game instead of pick up that comic. That's what
That's
happens.
what's
We
happening
need to
to the
be
fans, yeah.
we
They're
need to
leaving.
be out there talking about our passion in a positive light, because we love it. If we love it, we need to tell everybody else that we
I
love it as
love
well.
that people love Rippaverse comics. I do. I'm not necessarily
Everybody's allowed their
fan of
favorites.
everything. Yeah, they're allowed it. And
Everybody. Yep.
I mean, for some people, hybrids is their favorite, which makes no sense to me, but makes me very happy, right? So, but to this comment, he doesn't want to help other people. That's your point. I get that. And plus, he's already rich. I've followed him for a very long time. Before he did, he just did comic commentary. I know he did music. He was doing some music stuff back then. He's always been about himself, right? He's been his business, promote his business. He didn't really bring people on to promote anything other than what he was doing. So I wasn't surprised when he didn't do that with comic books. I have been surprised, however, of how willing a lot of the kings are to promote other people's work. The CG kings that they call themselves, right? Yeah. And I will say this, as late as Ethan is, he does produce a really good product with a lot of extras. Yeah. He is reasonably entertaining on his YouTube. He's funny. You know, he's got a different sense of humor that some people don't get, or some people don't like, but other people do. But he's also been very helpful to people when it strikes him to do so. He's less so willing to do that now than he used to be because of ungrateful Beavis and Buttheads.
He's been backstabbed a lot.
There are people that he will help, and then they will come around and badmouth him because his help wasn't enough.
Or
And
they
I
felt
just
it wasn't enough.
And I just don't think that. Yeah, they felt it was. I just don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
You got somebody with a platform to share the platform with you, and I think you should be grateful for that. You shouldn't expect every book that you do that he brings you on, and he may not like every book that you do. He's brought me on to talk about Fun My Comic and Rift Riders. He's never brought me on to talk about hybrids. Hybrids apparently doesn't appeal to him. Okay, so he doesn't want to bring me on to platform that, and I get it. That it is what it is. It's his platform, right? Do I wish he produced books faster? Hell yes. I do. I really do.
But would they look the way they look?
No,
if
they
produced them
probably
faster?
wouldn't. No, they probably wouldn't.
You see? So that's the thing, right?
And look, if I'm going to support him, I'm going to support him. If I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's on him to figure out. It's not on me to try to tell him how to run his business. He will either succeed or fail by his own doing. It's not going to be mine. And I think that's my point with the labels, It's why Kanan White wants to be so clear that he's not Comicsgate. Because he doesn't want to succeed or fail by someone else's label.
Circling back a little bit, because I wanted to, say about business and stuff and why I support comics, or what I'm making comics is I actually do it not just for the comics, which I do love, but because I make models, right? I make action figures and 3D models, and I want to be a full-time freelance artist, right? That's my dream job to do. So it's kind of why I do. Just wanted to chime in there.
Nice.
Dave here has a
We
point.
all have
in
our
your
goals,
comics.
man.
I never back creators on the basis of how entertaining they are on streams.
Yeah. But it is the factor. Some people do.
Some people
You should
do.
back the stuff you love because you're entertained by it.
Yeah.
If you want to be entertained by their opinion on streams, send them a super chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave also says most indie comics are better than Rippaverse books, yet people don't really go looking for quality. They want books presented to them. Getting eyes on it is everything.
Yeah,
And
that's on us.
Yeah, it is our marketing. And like him or hate him, I have to say that Tyler Carpenter talks about marketing a lot. And not everything he says is wrong, okay? He says a lot of good things. He might be able to say them in a better way, but he says them and he's not wrong. It does come down to how you market your book.
And he has marketing experience as well.
He's made
it's
money
9 to
on
5
books.
is marketing.
And he's made money on books.
And he's made money on books. Everybody that's made money on books is anybody that makes a living especially needs to be listened to. You don't have to take their advice, but you should know about them and how they did it in order for you to adapt what they did to what you're doing.
You have to know that your work is marketable first, right?
Yes.
And so you have to figure that out. Is my work marketable? And so I have to look at like Hybrids. Is it marketable? Rift Riders was way more marketable, I think, than Hybrids has been. But I also understand
we've been over 3 hours and
yeah, I do understand that.
Whoa.
But I understand that I myself I have to do marketing. I have to figure out how to get me out there.
I could be rich.
Right, I'm Vax Sperm at a premium. It is getting in front of people is paramount in this industry if you're going to be successful. And that goes even for the books in the top 20, 50 that we were looking at. Number 10, because they gave it away.
Yep.
They made number 10 because they gave it away. They got it in front of people.
Yep. How
much money did they spend? How much money did they lose?
How much money will they make in the long run? That's really what you need to be watching.
That's what Monday Phil.
Because advertising, you can chalk a lot of that off on with a good, and your accountant. Yep.
Yeah, Phil and I are actually having we're having a conversation on Monday talking about what we're going to do with Iron Age distribution. He has some ideas. I have some ideas. We're going to look through that, and we're going to have because we're formulating some stuff, but we know it's going to create an investment on our part in order to make this company profitable. But it's like, how much money can we make if we do it right? Right? So we are going to probably absorb a lot of the cost for startups for the Spinner Rack program. It's just how it is.
However, saying that it's always nice to see a transparent, honest, likable creator. Yep.
I agree. I buy the comics because of the comics, but not the performance. Yeah,
it's one of the reasons I
agree. Russ, likability really helps. I've not backed books I thought were good just because I disliked the creators. Yeah.
Yep. You do have to be a little bit likable.
Yeah.
Works so much.
You can't be a
there you
complete
go,
like
Joe. That's what you do. Yep.
What'd he say?
He says he's got a great accountant. He liked her work so much he married her.
Nice.
There you are.
Yes.
You go out, you find yourself an accountant that specializes in small personal businesses. That's what you need, because they know that law forwards and backwards, and especially if you don't want to piss off the IRS, but you want to get the maximum for your return within the limits of the law. You need a good accountant. You really do.
Yeah. Or you can move to a fiscal paradise like my country. Yeah.
And age cometh. Yeah. You take your chances every time you put in that tax report, though, if you don't know. So,
there's a lot of people that are. We're seeing people that are actually attacking Iron Age like that title now, because they want to make it the same. They want to make it the same thing as. They want to make it a boogeyman. They want to make it the bad guy.
Yeah.
Everybody's out looking for people to troll. I mean, the trollers are, not everybody, but the Beavises out there are always going to find something to bitch about.
We have great books on here, though. The Mythicals, Fiendish just moved back up in the list. Yeah. Vindicated has been bringing in. They've raised over $2,000. He needs $9,800 to get where he needs to be in 43 days. AR-13L is doing great. So close to hitting 20K. Yep. And they've only been on this platform. The Sinstress number 0 $97 so far, 6 days to go.
Just
Yeah,
to
I
start.
think they're somewhere else. I think they're not been promoting a
Okay.
whole lot here. Silence Do Good is raising some money. Blood and the Sword, doing well for a $5 comic book. $5 comic book
There
over
you
there.
go.
Flip City Magazine needs to get some more 60 days left to go on that one.
Need some love, folks. Flip
Need some
City
love.
Magazine.
Get over there. Check them out. That's going to be great. Anvil, 18 days to go over there. 22 days to go on Florida Man. Then we've got Community Service is doing well. 1 day left to go on Top Grift. I think we can do that. I
gotta
Hate
buy some
AIs. I put this one up there because I thought this was a neat looking book. The art looks nice in it. They're not asking for a lot of money.
They're 0-0 right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel Sosa, comic book artist. Super
That's the
stoked to
problem.
introduce my new project, I Hate AIs.
Then trailer.
In this comic, you'll follow Kyla, a budding artist who, inspired by nightmares about a catastrophic event involving AI, embarks on a journey through hidden worlds full of magic and danger.
It's a decent trailer.
Throw your support behind I Hate AIs. See you on the other side.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
We got to see the art showing
The
off.
art looks awesome.
It does. Doesn't it look great?
Yeah. And we better put the word out for this.
I mean, this looks so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good. Nice art. He's
You know
it's
what,
got
when I
all of his
first-
everything's in there that you need to know about this campaign. Very cool. See what else is going on. Shifter is still raising money. Iverian is coming along. Omega Mission just extended till March of next year.
Grail, 1, 2,
Gary
3.
Martin.
That needs
Grail
some
1 through
love.
3. Yeah, it does.
It's got some good art in there too.
Jim
does.
Tyler, it's amazing. Folks, look at that artwork.
Don't know anything about the guy, but it's good art.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Incredible grindhouse type stuff. Oh, there's a blood.
Whoa, that's bloody.
There's a little blood, a little sex, a little rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Great,
Look at that
great stuff.
monster.
Tim's been around since the 80s, and he is incredibly prolific, incredibly good.
He knows what
Just
he's
great,
doing.
readable stuff. Look at that detail right there.
Fantastic, yeah.
He's just, every time I see his work, I'm just in awe of his work, his zip work, just incredible stuff. Just so much fun.
I hope he gets paid by the line on that one. Wow.
He kicks it out too, I'm telling you. He's just incredibly good, incredibly fast.
He has several books on this platform.
And the books are
Six
real
backers, that's
readable too. I mean, it's just a great product in general. He's got a manga style. He's got a grindhouse type style. Grail, you can't go wrong. 1 through 3.
Good stuff.
I think I've got number 2. That's another one of them campaigns I have to buy into.
Chrome Dog, we're sending out the digitals, man. We've got the digital
We
book
are.
ready. Getting it printed. So it's being printed. We'll be fulfilling that when we fulfill that one. We will also be fulfilling all the Arrow Bundles number 2 that came in for all the campaigns.
Yep.
So we'll be getting those out. So it's going to be a busy, we're going to do that in January. It's going to be a busy month in January.
Hatch
we've got a
annotated
lot
right
going
there
out.
from Glenn.
Hatch annotated, very good. The post office keeps losing books from Glenn for me, so a little disappointed in that. Hybrids double feature. Everyone that ordered the game is going to print hopefully third week of January. That's the goal right now. So we've got to get some other things printed before that it hits the queue, but we will get that game manual out to everybody. Shadow Century Origins number 1 looks really good. Trolls Exposed, Fall of Man, that's a good one. Crimson Skies looks funny. This trailer, you guys got to see this one. I've always loved this trailer.
Beat us away.
Gotta cover them nipples.
Very nice. Whoa, we missed something. What's happening?
Look at that. That's cool.
FMC, man. Yeah.
Very old school MTV kind of stuff.
It is, man. It's just like Animal
Liquid
House
television
kind of stuff.
all over again.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff over there. I mean, you can spend a lot of money here.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we grow, the more we bring this in. As you can see, 146 different campaigns being edited right now, 78 of them running, 10 of them in being re-evaluated. The canceled, that's if someone like creates a campaign and then decided they
Backtracks.
yeah, backtracks, and so they start a new one or whatever. And so 64 of them have been captured. So when you look at that number here, that raised, captured, complete, that 330,000 is coming from 64 campaigns.
Yeah.
That has been captured complete.
Awesome.
Holy crap, we're going on 4 hours.
Yeah, we need to get
Yeah.
Look at that.
We need to get
Wow.
off for a bit. Yeah.
I better get out of here.
Yeah, we gotta get it. I got
Gotta
work
get
to
out
do.
of here.
All right,
Get
let's,
outta here.
yeah, I am now the number one campaign on FMC. I know campaign
There you
number
are.
one. It only took him the entire campaign to get there. Wait, who backstabbed who? Yeah, it's hard to tell, man. Glenn is just British. Yep, with Glenn on that, too busy drawing pages to F around on Twatter.
Twatter.
Amen, no problem.
Too true.
I bought X-Men for the creative team, not the brand name.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah. Marketing is
Amen.
an art. Yes, it is. I spent most of my career in graphics marketing. After all of that, the only thing I can sell is me. And
Nice.
that's about how it is these days.
Yeah, as
Never
long
back
as it's not on the
creative
street
space.
corner. Yeah, sell yourself. It's not on the streets.
I
Stay
think if
off
there were an
OnlyFans.
international market, you could sell bits of you. Kidneys are quite expensive.
There we are.
Amen.
Oh, yeah. Go the China route. Nice.
Ethan will retweet stuff. If I ask him, I rarely ask because I like to make my own way. Amen to that. He will. Ethan's been very nice.
Yeah.
Like I haven't
Considering the platform and the visibility, he's been probably more generous
Yeah, I
than,
don't really have
than
a
the
problem.
majority of the other folks. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see the problem that most people have with him.
Well, he's
It's
abrasive.
a sense of humor, if anything.
is
I think it's
abrasive.
just the
Yeah.
humor. Yeah.
Tyler and I don't
Something
agree on much, yet we talk quite often about comics and marketing. Yeah, Tyler Carpenter sells bad girl covers. That's his marketing. He drama farms. That's his market. Well, if it works for him, it works for him, right? His advice is kind of common sense. Oh, it can be, yeah. I agree. Russ likability helps, really helps. I have not backed books I thought were cool just because I dislike the creator. Read that one already. Just I have a great accountant. Yeah, we read that one.
Yep, yep.
You don't like me, Dave. That's funny. The Iron Age cometh, and then something is missing. LOL. Yeah, I didn't see her. Oh, it might have gotten. Wait a second. Maybe it's way down here. And it goes
What are you looking for?
way down.
You know,
B.A. Turner's book.
I don't.
You got to get them tips. You got to get them tips. Move back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get up there on the main
There it
page
is.
again. There it is.
It's all the way down at the bottom.
Whoa!
All the way
Towards the
down at
bottom, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Vigilante Squid.
Yeah, you gotta market that book. Tell them to tip it. The higher, the more they tip, the higher it goes up here.
Tip it good.
That's why these books. That's what Hojo was doing the whole time, and he was fighting against Fiendish, and Scribbles, and Vindicated, and Florida Man for a while. Man, he was fighting against a lot, and even top.
Stiff competition over there, yeah.
And they were getting tips. That's what you got to do. You got to work on getting them tips in. And so that's what'll do it. Guys, it's been a fun day. Great conversation.
It was awesome.
Let's see if we get canceled tomorrow. We could get canceled tomorrow.
Could get canceled. Look at that. Holy crap. March 1st, folks. Fund My Comic. The Shadow Kingdom, Russ Leach. Just knocking it.
Nice.
Right out of the park. I got another page here. You might have already seen that page, but let me show you. Oh, let me show you this page. Look at that.
Russ, have I said I hate you?
Wow.
Right there. Great stuff. We're adapting The Shadow Kingdom by Robert E. Howard. And it's, in my opinion, it's the first real faithful adaptation of the work. You've seen it in comic form before, but it's not the complete story. We use as much of the prose as possible and that great Russ Leach artwork. Look at that. Just look at that stuff. And it's going to be a really fun product. It's about a 70 pages of 68, 69 pages of comics, along with the story in the back of the book. A nice forward and backward by folks that you might know, and just some great. It's going to be a great package. We can't wait to start up the campaign. March 1st, 2024 is when Russ wants to kick it off. Then that's a good thing because it gives me a couple of months to letter it. So it's going to
Russ
be.
needs to be stopped, man.
You can see he's knocking it out of the
Yeah, I
park
could've
right
stopped
there.
him.
Just great stuff. And there's a lot more where this came from. If this campaign's successful, there's a lot more to go as well. So make sure you look for it. The Shadow Kingdom over at Fund My Comic. It's gonna be good.
Absolutely.
Dude's a fantastic
Today I'm on
artist.
2 different streams. 5 p.m. I'm going to be over on the Iron Man podcast, I think. And then at 9 p.m. I'm going to be on with Flip City. Flip City is going to be doing a live stream, and I'll be hanging out with them tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. So you want to make sure to do that. Oh, he pulled his stuff. Here we go. I'll bring us there.
There we are. Sorry.
You had
I
me
can
at
put
Conan.
that back up there, but I'm going to be on Tim Fling's podcast Friday night at 8 p.m., I believe it is. And then we've got Friday morning, 5 a.m., we're going to be looking at Ian Gibson's Halo Jones.
There you go.
Very nice.
R.I.P. Ian. Miss you already. Great stuff. Just classic material. Then Sunday morning on the Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. on Indie Comics Network, we'll be looking at the Flash Gordon comic strip. And we're just starting to hit the time when Alex Raymond is hitting his artistic stride. And it just gets better from there. Just some beautiful stuff. And it's a great conversation. Glenn's there, Russ is there, Whiskey's there, I'm there, and we're all talking. Sometimes we don't talk Flash Gordon, but it's a great conversation and a lot of fun to cover and to show off this stuff by some of these greatest comics masters of all time. So you should check those out. Other than that, arrowcomics.store for my stuff. So go over there and take a look. Luke's stuff's over there as well.
Definitely check out arrowcomics.store. You can also go to lukestonestudios.com and you can find all of the free PDFs running through the end of the year.
And
So go
I
over there and
should
check
mention
that
it. If you want news and information on the Shadow Kingdom campaign, go over to russleach.com and sign up there.
So, speaking about Russ and my stuff here, I put in an order with Russ to sometime in the future. I don't know exactly when he's going to get to it. He's got a lot on his plate, but a very humbling experience that I'm going to get Russ to get on the cover of Driftwood and do some of these characters here that I've been doing the 3D reference art for. I'm extremely excited, super humbled. Like, the dude's a master at what he's doing. I'm just floored, man. It's blown me away.
Absolutely. Well, guys.
Sweet. Yep.
It's been a good day. It's been a long day. 3 hours, 47 minutes today. We're going to see how much hate mail we get.
One for the record books.
Yeah, we're going to see how much hate mail we're going to get on this. Next week, we'll be here, same time. It's going to be 96 episodes. Next week. Today was 95. Can you believe we're just 5 weeks away from hitting 100 episodes?
There we are.
Wow.
I cannot believe it. That is, that will be, we will be here on the 28th, which is after Christmas. So we don't have any Thursdays that are going to be blocked off for us. So we should hit on the 18th of January. should be our 100th episode. We're going to try to do something special for that.
Uh-oh.
Yep, so we're going to try to do something real special for that. It has 100 episodes of Nerd Bacon. We're going to have a giveaway.
Gonna need to be extra crispy.
We're going to be extra crispy.
Do we know
Maybe
what we're
even a
giving
little
away?
extra salty. We don't know what we're giving away yet. I'm still working on that. So thank you, Levi. We appreciate that. If you guys enjoy this content, please let us know. Again, after the first of the year, probably going to ask all of our channel members to consider just going over and subbing on my members only portion of the website, where I will be releasing a page of comics probably if not every day, every couple of days. And your subscription will get you free. Well, it's not necessarily free, but you will get a physical copy of the books when they're finished mailed to you. So that's how we're going to be doing that, of the floppies. So that's the plan, my friends. That's the plan. Guys, remember, it's really, really easy to tear things down. We've seen that. It is time for us to build things up. It's time for us to make a better, much better future for ourselves. Let's not cut this baby in half. Let's not kill it. Let's try to find a way to bring in more readers, bring back old readers. Let's try to find a way to get along, if at all possible. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree. But it's not okay. It's not okay to keep tearing things down without building things up. So let's build back better. Let's use Biden's term.
Oh, hating ain't creating, folks.
Let's make comics great again. Let's build back better.
Oh, now I got a bad taste in my mouth.
I'm sorry about that. Maybe this will help. Remember, guys, leave a woodpile higher than you found it. By all means, please be careful out there.
Be careful.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. Two Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 2 AEWs a GTA, several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide,